This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. You guys good? You all right? You want a hug? Max, should we give him a hug? It's been a tough weekend. It's been a tough week.
What? No, it hasn't. It's been fantastic. Yeah,
Wait
had
a minute.
a great weekend.
What are you wearing?
I'm not wearing anything. Mag's not even here tonight. Ponymaster 420's taking over the show, folks. That's right. The PNC is in the house. That's right. We got that. We got Xbox games going to Ouya. We've got them going to PlayStation. I'm excited to talk all about it tonight. So we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff. Anyways, we got a show to talk about tonight. Colt, let's get into it.
We do. We're so glad you guys could be here. We have a lot to talk about. Mag called me about midnight his time the other night, and he's like, I got a bunch of stuff that we got to talk about on the podcast. We're going to dive into that. Before we do that, as people are rolling in, I'm going to do something I haven't been able to do lately because the show's been so busy. I'm going to rattle off some of the great supporters that have been taking care of the podcast and been here. Some of the channel members and Patreon veterans that are in the ticker on the timeline here. We've got KY Bob, Assassin Lupa, Jazzy Newtbox, Riggit Falon, Hargeet Chani, Jason Lewan, Lord Sin Eater, William Riggs, Farscape, Matt Houston, Zimic, Happy Bomb, Decatron, Matt Burns, William Lanza, Udeni Kazada, Robert Jackson, Dante J. Moody, Betamax, Dark CMF, Septic Sauce, Zenner White, Devario 2 Gaming, V Simco, Assassin Poochie Dub, Raiden Played Perspective, Q Perspective, Risking for the Biscuit, True 77, Michael 4, Red Source, Attitude Deer 12. I need to update this list as well. Pen Pineapple Pin, Troll Roppers, Dar Sanji, Meat Puppet, Red Wolf, Alan Adeltree, Gamer by Choice, Judd AJ Goalie, Rip and Highlander, Techno Caveman, Fire 71, That Blue Number, Kung Fu Hot Dog, Uncle Chowder, Shooter, Tex-Made, VMAC, Clipdos, B Morton, Sith Lord, Good Old Collingwood, Lawrence Davenport, Dead Time, KJ Wars, Dusty Patterson, Darkwave Mortem, Lord, Staller Killer, X, Series X01. And I read off those names because a lot of you have been messaging me over the past couple weeks. I talk to you in replies. I hear from you in the comment section. And thank you so much. Meg, how have you been through?
Great.
Yeah. How have you been, I guess? Just that's all.
Yeah, no, great. It's just, I'll give everybody the timeline. Actually, you want me to just tell everybody the timeline? I might as well let the cat out of the bag here properly. So, by the way, this is not an outfit. This is a pony bot outfit. Okay, so I got a little bit of both worlds in there because that's what I am. So let's wear it with pride, folks. Anyhow, all joking aside, this started before New Year's, where I got the list of the possibility or the games that are under consideration. The games are under consideration for third party, whatever else, right? So the thing is, I saw this and my initial response obviously was, well, I don't really want to talk about this because it didn't seem like it was something that was completely plausible. And there was a bit of fear there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There was a bit of fear there saying like, you know what? I'm going to absolutely get clowned for even like mentioning this or this, you know what I mean? So I kind of stayed away from it. Funny thing is, then I kind of went on the Infinite Xbox podcast, and I kind of was spilling the beans about some other stuff with Contraband and everything else, and the Gears of War collection and all that. And then I was put out there. And then when I was put out there, then, some people were happy about it. Then I got clowned for it anyway. People were saying it was fake. Then what ended up happening is this rumor about these third-party stuff started coming up again. We talked about it on this very show like 3 weeks ago, I think it was, and 2 weeks ago or whatever. We talked about the possibility of this.
Very carefully we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the whispers were starting to come in, right? And so then I woke up this Friday morning at 6 a.m. getting a message from the same person saying, you know what? Go ahead and say something about it. I'm giving you full permission to do it. And I said, all right. I said, I'll talk about it on XNC on Monday night. Then Saturday, I talked to some people high ups in the industry and asked their advice because I talked about it with them. I told them what I knew. And I said, what do you think I should do? Some people said, don't say anything. just let it play out. And then some people said, you know what, maybe we'll dance around it a little bit and then just kind of like get some information out there, but don't go full all out. And then I got drunk and then I called you at 12:38. I'm not kidding. It was 12:38 a.m. and I was drunk walking around my house talking to Colt. I called Colt and I'm like, Colt, this is what's going on, buddy. And so I talked to him and then we said, you know what, we'll tastefully talk about some of this stuff on the show. And then we're like, all right, we'll leave it at that. We'll discuss it more Sunday. I wake up Sunday and then all of a sudden all hell broke loose. So the funny thing is I could have broke it days before, but I just was like, I was hesitating. I wanted people's opinions and I stayed away from it.
You were told to wait anyway. You were told to wait until Monday.
Right. Well, he didn't say to wait till Monday. I said, I'll talk about it Monday because I didn't think anybody else was going to know about this, right? And then all of a sudden it turned into a complete, slobber knocker and then Xbox era and then everybody and then The Verge. But here's the thing. When Xbox era started talking about it and they got it out on the air, within like minutes, The Verge published their article. And I was talking to everybody else going, you see what I'm talking about? The stuff I was calling you guys about on Saturday to ask your advice for, the same information. And so all three of those things happened at the same time. And then more people started coming out, which means that this was corroborated by multiple people in multiple different directions and multiple, you know what I mean? Like sources and whatever. And so I was like, okay, this could be legit. And so that's the timeline. And now here we are tonight. And now we're discussing things. But there are a few things on my documents that I received that were not on anybody else's. And that's some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Talk about the future, the hardware, the future hardware that's coming next generation. And the one glaring difference on the list is that mine said Gears Collection was being considered as well. I know some people said, like, I know Jeff Grubb was talking about Gears of War as a possibility, but it wasn't really specific. Mine specifically said Gears Collection was being considered. But that's it. Other than that, there's no actual confirmation from anybody other than from what, Xbox is going to talk about next week. Now, the thing is, though, I mean, let's face the truth here as well. The truth is, if this was completely going to be debunked, they would have debunked it simply with one tweet and said, guys, this ain't happening, but we'll talk about it in detail next week. The fact that they did not address it at all and are going to sit on it in a week means they're going to, take 7 or 8 days to not pivot, but certainly maybe come at it at a different angle, judging by the people's response and whatever else, and or not. But the thing is, the fact that it was not denied immediately right off the bat would lead you to believe that, yes, this is indeed happening.
Okay, I mean, I got to say, Phil's tweet today was the total definition of pacification. We're going to pacify the fans. We hear you. We're listening, right? I'm assuming they want to have like this professional sit-down roundtable discussion about the state of Xbox and what they're going to do by just absolutely laser blasting exclusivity as we know it. That's how I see it. And I think sometimes I'm tired of the PR. I'm so tired of the PR approach. Like, we got to take this professional approach. It's like, no, literally the entire weekend, if not counting the month ago that you and I talked about this on the podcast, they did a video about it. Everyone was talking about it. Xbox knew this, right? And they sat there and waited until it turned into a complete wildfire across the prairies before Phil's like, okay, I'll say something because we're not going to have this professional video up until Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it's going to be of next week. Not the right way to do it. So I'm going to reset for the audience, Mag, and thank you, over 1,100 of you here watching the XC podcast. This is an Xbox newscast. We'll soon brand it to just be the blank newscast. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? No, this is the Xbox newscast. I'm Colteastwood. Over here is Mag, middle-aged game guy. He's my co-host from the other side of North America. And thank you. Hit the like button if you're here. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to break down why Microsoft thinks this is good, why this is bad for the fans, why this is bad for the industry, but also some good news about what is actually going to come of this that will be things that we can be excited about moving forward for the brand, believe it or not. We'll get into that as well. Also, I want to take just a second. I'm just going to get this out of the way. And thank you so much to Factor for being our podcast sponsor and pushing polygons. In fact, if you hit that QR code with your phone, you can order like, I don't know, 6 or 8 of these meals. You microwave them for 2 minutes, peel them, not in front of Mag because he's a chef. They're pretty tasty and they're supposed to be super good for you. And they are. They're great. But you can check those out. If I sell some of those factory meals, we're all happy. And we went through those really fast for my family. But also we've got the Manscaped thing with code XC, you get 20% off. We've got the Lawnmower 5.0. Check this thing out. Buy this thing. Shave your balls. What are you doing? You cannot be going around like this while Xbox is putting their games on PlayStation if you haven't shaved yourself. Meg, what do you have to say about Manscaped?
Well, one thing I got to tell you about Manscaped is that Manscaped will never go third party because it's only going to be working for your first party balls right down below. You're not going to be shaving anybody else. It's going to be exclusive to your crotch. So let me tell you something. Use that code. Use the code XNC in there, and you get that discount in there. You got it. Listen, I got it. It's amazing. The thing is so gentle. It's wonderful. It does such a great job. So powerful. It charges so quickly with the USB-C port, and of course, it's got all the different attachments and everything. Wonderful product, I gotta tell you. And like I said, even if you don't need it now, or even if you're thinking about Father's Day or a birthday coming up, get it now while it's discounted. Put it in your closet. Like, come on, what are you doing? My wife does all her Christmas shopping by August. Okay? August, all the Christmas shopping is done. You could do the same, folks. And with that, you could actually get the discount for that Lawnmower 5.0. And on top of it, they've got all kinds of other things. They've got ball cream. They've got balms. They've got moisturizers. They've got conditioners and shampoos and all kinds of great stuff. And let me tell you something. Like I said, it's an amazing product. You got to get into it. I wasn't really like, I've heard of Manscaped before and everything else, but now that I finally got the product, they sent it to me. Thank you for sending me that gift package.
Awesome.
And the stuff is amazing. I got to say, it's amazing. It is absolute high quality. What an incredible product. So just go out, do it, buy it. Do it now. Don't even wait to the end of the show. Do it right now. Anyways, Colt, back to the show.
Yeah, XC for 20% off. And speaking of balls, people thought, that I wouldn't have the balls to talk about what's going on, but we have talked about it. In fact, today I put out my second video explaining what Microsoft's doing and why I don't like it. And now I know that our audience, Mag, is going to be split down the middle. There's people who don't want to talk about rumors until they're real. So I'm going to reset for the audience. Or they want me to call out and blast Microsoft and Xbox. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the chats, the super chats, to make sure that your questions are being answered and you're being heard on this platform. Shout out to 1,300 of you. Hit the like button. We need to get that sucker to 500. And, we'll do some giveaways on the show as well. So anyway, thank you everybody for that. Let me reset, Mag, what's going on. Nate the Hate, a trusted insider who's pretty much gotten everything right, said he heard, he sniffed out that Hi-Fi Rush and possibly Sea of Thieves was coming to PlayStation. I had also heard, as Mag, we both heard, that there was some sort of talk about games being ported to the PlayStation 5. Gaz, Septic Sauce, who was here in the chat, he's here right now, he says, what's up, Dub? Gaz had heard from someone where it was so dicey that he talked about it once on his show, and then he was kind of tried not to talk about it because the person he talked to was like, I don't want to get myself in trouble or other people in trouble. But things that Gaz had heard is that Hellblade 2, which hasn't even come out yet, is already being readied for the PS5. Like a port was being worked on while we're waiting for them to release the game. So now we're hearing.
You and I heard the same thing, Colt.
Yes. And now we're hearing.
You and I heard the exact same thing. Yeah. Yep.
What's that? Say again?
No, I was just reiterating that you and I had heard that as well.
Yeah. And then now Jeff Grubb and other insiders who are other journalists, game journalists who are hearing stuff and talking to people on the inside are hearing that Gears of War collection would drop on PlayStation. Starfield is supposed to come to PlayStation 5 just after the Shattered Space DLC, which is probably in the fall, which I would bet you, you know what? I'm just going to put it right here and you could bookmark this. I bet you that Starfield gets an 88 out of 100 Metacritic on PS5 alone because it'll have a year of updates and it'll have that Shattered Space DLC packaged in and it's going to do way better, which is, where I'm saying, you can delay games further if you need to. So that's kind of where we're at. And I know people are like, these are just rumors, but it's really gotten to the point, Mag, where there's no running away from this. Xbox has got some sort of plan B or something in the works, and now the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, the problem is, and it's fine, and it's absolutely fine. And I said this in my video. I made a little video the other night, and I said exactly that. I'm like, listen, the Xbox ecosystem's not going anywhere. You can continue to stay there. It's not finished. It's not over. There's hardware coming for the next generation, which we will talk about later on in the show. And, that's all coming. So you could choose to stay there. You could choose to leave. You could choose to only play on the PlayStation and then eventually get some ports over there, eventually get some ports of their games over there if you want to do that. You have the options to do all these things. No one's stopping you. No one's forcing you into a corner or anything like that. There are all kinds of options, and that's fine. However, the one thing that I can say, and this is the one thing that we've talked about that's been going on for, now it's coming up on 11 years now, is the absolute piss poor messaging is the problem. And that's what's always been the issue. And then you know what it gets followed up with? The same gobbledygook that I heard today. And I hate to say it because you know what? I know that Phil is a very passionate person for the game industry, not just Xbox. He's a passionate gamer, period. While all this nightmare was going on yesterday, he was playing Diablo 4, right? He was playing Diablo 4 on his Xbox, right? So like he's still a gamer at heart. He's still doing all these things. He started in the trenches and moved his way on up. However, and it's not really just him that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about in general. You keep getting the same story, and it's been going on for 10 years. We hear you. You know what I mean? And then we're going to show you our vision for the future of Xbox. I actually asked some dude, what the hell is going on with Xbox? But the thing is, my kids don't know what's going on. That generation doesn't know what's happening. The people that are not connected to the, not connected, but not part of this community, whatever. The older gamers, the mid gamers, but these young ones, they don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? They're not part of this equation. But it's starting to spill into that casual thing where people are saying, the Xbox is like falling apart and all this other stuff. It's not. But damn, is it a bad look? Boy, is it a bad look. And then you keep getting the same thing. We hear you. And then we're going to give you the vision of the future of Xbox. I mean, they're rebooting this thing more times than Sony did Spider-Man the movie after Tobey Maguire left. It's like you keep rebooting the same thing over and over, hoping for a better result. It's like the Fantastic Four. Reboot it again, why don't you? Because the first 2 times sucked. You know what I mean? And then it's almost like they keep rebooting the system, like not the system, but the ecosystem over and over, trying to like, okay, well, this is the direction we're going. Okay, now this is the direction we're going. Okay, now this is the direction. And I'm like, stay tried and true to whatever you're going to do. Stick to that. Stick to those principles. Stick to that moral. Stick to that business plan and move with it. And I understand that, things don't always work out. But my goodness, you got to give some things. Like, it almost feel like I've heard some people talk today and yesterday on different podcasts saying they don't seem to give it enough time to be able to really like flesh it out and say, okay, let's see how this is going to go. ABK is not even 2 months old, right? And now you hear this stuff happening. It sounds like they're trying to pivot again. And I'm like, it's almost like you're trying to turn a cruise ship on a dime. Well, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to talk about the turn on a dime thing in a moment, but we have to remind the audience, and thank you guys for being here, almost 2,000 people. We appreciate you. And we're listening. We're going to listen more than Phil. How about that? We're going to listen way more than Phil is.
We hear you.
we hear you. And I'm super frustrated. And I heard Mr. Boomstick said, he had trouble sleeping when this is going on. And he said he got up at 2:30 in the morning because all this mess was going on all weekend and somebody's trying to clown him. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, you have a guy who really cares about video games, but he also runs 5 podcasts a week. Like, this is part of his other livelihood. And this is like what his main involvement is in gaming. So we're all very affected in different ways. Xbox, what they did was Don Matrick came out and just farted all over everything. And then the brand just took a nosedive for almost a decade. Phil comes out in 2018 and says, we are going to build a first-party suite of studios with awesome games. And we're like, yes. And the next year, they do all these acquisitions. Then the next year, Bethesda. The next year, ABK. And then as soon as everything is laid down in their lap, they're done. They're like, we're just going to go multi-platform. That's how it looks. Oh. Meg, I want you to talk a little bit about what your perception is, what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on internally at Microsoft and Xbox over this weekend, what you've heard, what you predict, or what your expertise is in being a business owner and being somebody tied in with the business and the industry. What do you think's going on internally?
I got to tell you, and actually this would be the first time I think I've talked about this out loud. is that halfway through the ABK drama of the court proceedings and everything else, when I was all rah for it at first, and then my tune started to change about halfway through, and then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not a good thing. And I realized why, because I knew that the face of Xbox would change forever, which is fine. They have every right to do whatever they want with their business. They owe us nothing at the end of the day. They're just a business with a service. If you choose to be part of that service, go ahead. BMW could change all the models of their car next week or next year, and then the customers have the choice whether to buy it or not. It's, you know what I mean? They don't owe you anything. This is what they offer. And if it's not for you, move on to the next person who might actually speak to you from a consumer point of view, right? Halfway through this ABK thing, I started thinking twice about it, and I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. This is going to actually change things, because they're not spending $70 billion. And I said this on Twitter and then on the socials, and people, of course, ripped me apart, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what? They didn't spend $70 billion to appease 35 million to 40 million people. They did not do that, because 35 to 40 million people is not sustainable. That is not, when you have a Game Pass, Game Pass subscription that is not growing, it's been stagnant. We know it's been stagnant. If it wasn't, they'd be talking about it. But, we're still hearing it's still under 30 million. This thing should be at about 50, 60 million by now, at least. If you look at the exponential growth of the other, now, mind you, I was going to say the exponential growth of the other subscription services, that also happened during the pandemic, where a lot of people were sitting on their ass, getting paid to sit at home. And so they were consuming more media at that point. However, the point is that they were supposed to grow, they did not. Right? Yeah. And so when I realized, I start putting all these things together, saying, wait a minute, 35 to 40 million people out there on the Xbox ecosystem, not including PC. And then you look at the Game Pass not growing, and then look at what happened this winter. They put the Series X for like almost 40% off or something, 45%.
$350 in the States, and they dumped the price. Bought it. Nobody was buying them. Yeah.
And nobody bought it, right? Yeah. So you look at all these things, you start adding them all together, you're going, oh shit. Now I know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I said it on this very show. I said it on this show back in December. I said, if all else fails, when you make a $70 billion acquisition, they don't just do it and say, all right, well, we'll see how it goes. They have contingency plans.
I got to shoehorn something in here, because you and I are on the same page, I think. When Activision and Blizzard... when they were pretty much saying Call of Duty is going to remain and case-by-case basis kind of crap, I was under the impression, like a year into the ABK acquisition, that, you know what, I just think they're going to be multi-platform. Like, ABK will not offer Xbox any unique content. Like, Gaz and I had talked for a long time. We'd both made videos about, wouldn't it be amazing if Prototype and all these other games return, these franchises are re-energized, exclusive to Xbox. And then as it went on over the summer of the massive court battles, I'm like, they're not going to do this. Like,
it's not going to happen.
Activision Blizzard's going to pretty much be full multi-platform. We'll be lucky if we get Project Odyssey exclusive. Then they canceled that game. And then I started to think, you know what? I'm not so sure that Blade is going to remain exclusive. And I even told people, you can bet it's not coming to PlayStation 5 or 6. I have to say something full stop right here, and I'm going to get to some super chats, guys. Let me put this down. I'll put my what little bit of credibility I have left on the line. I don't think Xbox is going full third party. I'll give you that right now. Let me before that gets clipped. They don't get clipped. Who cares? These guys are like, oh, with their phones. I don't think Xbox is going full third party this generation, but they are going really, really close to it. And I think most of those games that they put out, I think a lot of those games are going to be in the, man, I really wish that wasn't multi-platform. I would expect that. And I also am going to say, starting next generation, you're going to see PlayStation go even harder multi-platform, because the consoles are more niche than everybody realized. I mean, Jim Ryan said they're niche. The PlayStation president said they're niche. Phil Spencer said they're niche. Like, the future is going to change over the next few years.
Let me shoehorn one more thing in there. I was going to say, I can see them, and this is something I talked about, like I said, on this very show, much to the chagrin of some very aggressive people. that I said if all else fails, and I'm not nothing's failing. It's just that it's just not growing. So what they're seeing is that at least they could become the new Tencent.
Yes.
I'm avoiding Embracer because we know what's going on over there. But anyways, besides that, it's basically becoming the new Tencent. And they're like, well, you know what? If we decide to one day, maybe not now, maybe 10 years from now, they decide one day to get out of the business and say, well, forget it. We're just going to leave this behind. And they're still going to be they could be one of the biggest video game publishers on the planet. And that was always the plan on top of it. Money on top of money on top of money. They did not do this to appease a small group of people. And I hate to say it, but 35 to 40 million is a small group of people. PlayStation, on the other hand, I could see them bringing their games closer to PC, like closer to day and date than what they've been doing, like holding off a year and a half. I could see them making doing that multi-ecosystem launch a little bit closer, or maybe even day and date.
Yes, Meg. Right now, half of their games that they're going to be releasing will be launching on PC day and date because they're games as service titles. I got to address the pony in the chat. Top Gun Zero says PlayStation isn't niche bot. Bro, well, seriously. I know you understand. Well. We all understand PlayStation's super popular, right? It's a super popular. It's a very popular thing in a very niche market. If you look at that pie chart of gamers in the world, they're Top Gun Zero. PlayStation makes up, 20% of the entire world's market, where Nintendo is like keeping neck and neck or beating them in many different metrics. So you have to understand that the plastic console that only plays this disc or that cartridge is not going to be around forever. And your favorite leadership has told you this, and you're like, la, 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 la. Let me read these super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being here. The YouTube decided to be like, I don't know, the connection was a little rough here and there, but we're gonna keep through it. Let's welcome Mash to the Early Access channel membership. And Meat Puppet says hi, and he's been around for 21 months. We appreciate you, buddy. Woggerman, welcome to Early Access. A good guy that I've hung around with at E3 in LA. What a great guy. Welcome. Dean Rivera with a $5 super chat says, remember the Xbox leak late last year where Phil said they would share the real plans later when they were ready? I think this is what he was talking about. Thank you for that, Dean. Gaz from Septic Sauce says, fold the line. We just had King David on here last week, and this hold the line thing is, where is it? It's right here. Hold the line. I mean, I don't know how long you can hold this line much longer. Lady Foxfire, thank you for the super, says things started going downhill. She's great, isn't she? Yeah. She said things went downhill and Colt got rid of the glasses. Laugh out loud. I love it. Dex says almost passed away this weekend when I woke up to this. Happy to be able to possibly have one AAA game installed on the next-gen system. We'll get into it. Geek to Sneak says, I could be wrong, but hasn't Xbox already been trying to bring Game Pass to Nintendo and PlayStation? Yeah,
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're not bringing the service to the other the service will remain where it is on the Xbox ecosystem and PC. If they decide to choose, because like I said, these games, a lot of them are in consideration. Nothing's in stone. If they decide to move those over to the to other consoles or to open up to the PlayStation and Nintendo ecosystem, then they will do so as a full retail game.
Yeah,
that's
like
what,
an installable
the service
game.
Is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for the game separately. It's not going to be the Game Pass subscription will not be offered on those other consoles. I can tell you that much.
Thank you, Meg, because a lot of this doesn't add up to us who've been watching the reports from the courts, the reports of the financials. Their financials were up. Hardware was not even really that up. So some of it doesn't make sense. And we'll talk about that as well when it comes to Game Pass. There's no juggernaut change coming to Game Pass, according to these rumors. We'll get into that as well. Revert Betton, Thank you so much for the Canadian $7, says, with the PS5 Pro rumored to be coming out, does that potentially mean the best console versions of Xbox Studios games will be on PlayStation?
That's a very good question. I mean, you could say that it could be the best on PlayStation or PS5 Pro and on PC. Right? Because if you look at Starfield ran like ass on the consoles, and then people were saying, "Oh, well, it works on my $190,000 PC. It goes 60 frames per second on there in 4K." So yeah, I could see it running better on there. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of that, Face 23 Brooklyn, New York, with the $2 super chat says, Cole, I'm going to play Starfield on PS5 Pro at 60 FPS. And then he puts a laughing emoji afterwards, because that's probably not going to happen unless Starfield puts out massive performance improvements or they do some overhaul of compromises to get the console to run. Oh boy, this caused quite a stir for me on Twitter the other day, where I said that Starfield runs basically at 60 frames in interior locations, but drops down to 30 when you get outside or you fly in space. And people were like, no, it doesn't. How could you possibly know that? And I should have said I was referring to Digital Foundry's exact PS5 or Xbox Series X PC build, where they basically nailed the specs of the console. And they did a test and said, yeah, when you get outside, it's not going to run at 60. You can see why Bethesda dropped it down, even with Todd Howard saying in June of last year, saying, oftentimes the game runs at 60, but we're holding it at 30. So yeah, I don't think PS5 Pro is going to make wholesale changes on games that couldn't do it before. Carlos Fontes, thank you so much for the orange and blazing $20 super chat. He says, it's wild how Sony is putting Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima on Xbox, how Nintendo is putting Mario on Steam, and how Apple's putting iMessage and FaceTime on Google Play Store. It's not like exclusives matter. And it's facetious, of course, but no, this isn't a NBA trade. Xbox isn't going to put games on PlayStation, and then PlayStation is going to be all, well, man, what do we owe you?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, Fahad, thank you so much for the €6. He says, hi, guys. I think that's interesting. They added like a like button to Supers, which is kind of cool. He says, hi, guys. I'm thinking that buying all these studios for offering their IPs after 10 years of no games with Xbox One, I really don't understand them. Meg, what do you think about that? Making us wait 10 years and then saying...
Yeah, you know, the thing is, people are, there's no getting around this. People are tired, not everybody, obviously, but there are a lot of people that are sort of on the fence, and they're tired. They're tired of it. They're tired of hearing the same story. They're tired of saying, we're sorry, we hear you, we're going to fix it. We're sorry, we hear you, we're going to fix it. You know, and then the thing is, it gets to a point where you're like, how long do you want people to wait? Like, no one's here forever. Like, you want me to wait till I'm retired before you guys get your stuff together? Like, come on, man. Like, give me a break. Like, it gets to a point where people are just like, listen, man, when you guys get your stuff together, then just wake me up. I'm going to be over here. Yeah, call me. I'm going to be gaming over here or wherever. And then, you know what I mean? And then there's just wake me up when you're ready. Wake me up before you go, okay? Let's do that. Wham! So the thing is at
I
the
love
end
George
of the day,
Michael. What a great voice.
God,
hey, Meg, can you ask me about me flip-flopping and switching to PlayStation?
Hey, Colteastwood, are you flip-flopping and going to PlayStation? Because I did.
That's kind of because I did. It's kind of impossible since I already own a PS5. I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean by flip-flopping? You mean am I gonna take my Colteastwood channel and make it into a put Aloy all over it and God of War and Angry Ellie?
No, she's not very good looking. Listen, I play where I want to play. Yeah, that's totally true. I think I saw the Fable girl in South Oshawa. Anybody who knows, you know. Anyways, yeah, that's our little Canadian joke.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. The people from Canada are laughing right now. Anyways, the thing is that it doesn't make you a flip-flopper because you decide you want to play somewhere that makes you happy. It doesn't mean, like, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Obi-Wan said that, okay, guys? They said, oh, just because Xbox is not doing great now, I'm going to take my Xbox, I'm going to chainsaw it in half, and then I'm going to go play over here. No, you're not. Okay, no, you're not. You're still going to play on your your Xbox. You're still going to play on your PlayStation. You're still going to play wherever. I'm playing Call of Duty on my PlayStation, and guess who I'm playing with? Xbox, guys. The reason why I have it on there is because it was gifted to me. Right? On the PlayStation. So I played on PlayStation. Why would I buy it on Xbox if someone gave it to me for free? And
I have you on the show, Mag, because you play a ton on PS5 and you play a lot on Xbox. Like, I like that perspective. I'm gonna start a poll while you're talking.
Sure. It doesn't make me a flip-flopper. It doesn't make you a flip-flopper. It doesn't make anything. All it means is that you are a consumer. It's do you go to the same restaurant every single week or every couple of weeks? Let's say you go out with your family, or do you shake it up once in a while? You might want to go somewhere else once in a while, right? So you're not going to go to the same place over and over. Do you watch the same movie every single night? No, you don't. Do you watch the same TV show every single night? No, you don't. So, like, I don't understand that whole mentality. However, I mean, Xbox doesn't help themselves with absolutely garbage messaging and the way that they just keep, this wishy-washy approach where they're like, they go in this direction and then they peter out. and then they go in this direction, and then they pull back, and they go in this direction, and then they pull back, and like you keep sending people mixed signals, they're not gonna invest, and that's where you're losing people. You're not losing people because of whatever, but look at this generation. I said it before, I said it last year, and I'm going to say it again this year because it's still the same. I personally think the Xbox One generation was better than the Series generation. I thought it was better. I thought there were better games available. I thought the exclusives were better. I thought that the marketing deals were better. I thought the games were better. And what if, do I have to break down this generation? 2020, well, 2020 doesn't count because it came out the end of the year, right? So we only had 6 weeks in 2020.
Dang, Mag.
Hear me out for two.
No.
minutes.
I mean, I am. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
2021, fabulous year. They had great games, great critical and commercial success, amazing Metacritic scores. My favorite game of the generation came out that year. Well, they had some great games in the
My favorite game of the generation came out that year as well.
There were 2 of them. 2 of my favorite Xbox games of this generation that came out the years was Forza Horizon 5 and Psychonauts 2, which I always talk about. Those are the 2 best games that came out. Wonderful. What an incredible year. They won Publisher of the Year, right? Didn't they have a great year? Great year. 2022, flat on their effing faces. Nothing. What ended up happening? Okay,
did you try the lasagna? Oh,
yeah, did you?
Right.
Yeah, well, why would you try the lasagna? There was no lasagna that year. It was literally an empty buffet. And so the 2020,
and then go
and
ahead.
dude, what happened? Then they went straight into the toilet in 2022. Garbage year.
Red fail.
Then you got 2023, Colt.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, we got a bunch of big games coming. And what did they do? Developer Direct in January, and then they release Hi-Fi Rush that day.
Dang.
My God, what a great day, right? Great start to the year. And I'm like, holy crap, here comes Xbox. They're coming back from a bad 2022. Then what happened? 2 miserable games, and then 1 mid-game. You had Redfall, complete and utter failure. You had Forza Motorsport. Forza Motorsport had the same lifespan as a gnat. It died the same day it came out.
I'm a Forza Motorsport fan, and that was not a good game.
It was bad. So you had 3 big games that you had. Redfall, because I don't care what people say. It wasn't a big game. It was a big game. You know why?
Yeah, it was. It was big.
The year before, it was and one more thing at the end of the showcase, you remember? Mm-hmm. So they had big plans for that game. The game failed. Starfield, mid. I don't care what anybody says. Go look at the numbers. The people play it. Go look at the reviews. Go look at the user scores. Come on. This is not review bombing because those are from people who played the game. People love it. People hate it. Whatever. That's why it's called mid. Forza Motorsport, dead in the water. So what? And then you end the year, and then you come into this year, and then this is the rumors swirling. Come on, man. You're sinking yourself.
I mean, I guess you can see why Xbox would be like, we got to change. We got to change our tune or change how we're going. But
I don't think they do. Actually, I think they just need to release quality games in a consistent manner, and they will do just fine. That's all they need to do.
Like PlayStation has not done anything amazing this generation other than continually give you 1 or 2 big games every year. And if they didn't, if their first party didn't mag, they had their third party banging on the door with a game like Final Fantasy 16.
Look at what's happening right now.
And I don't even like playing on there. Okay, sorry.
Right. Look at what's happening right now. This conversation. All the other podcasts that are literally happening simultaneous to this one. Look at all the ones that happened yesterday and all the discourse and everything on social media. What's Sony doing tomorrow? They're having a state of play for Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Oh, right.
And they're absolutely going to murder everybody with that game. And then you know what's going to happen? They're going to sell consoles. They're going to sell games. They're going to do what they keep doing, and they're doing it consistently. I mean, until the Switch 2 comes out. Then
they didn't have a great state of play last week, but none of that matters
doesn't matter
in the cadence of what they've been doing. And I don't even like a lot of the games that they put out, especially this generation. I'd say PS4 was miles better than this generation. But it's interesting when you say Xbox One was better, but I do think you and I think about Forza Horizon 3 and Gears 5 was awesome. And
think about that launch lineup on the Xbox One.
Yeah, it was
dynamite.
Good. It was good.
And then they went in, even to the
Titanfall, Dead Rising 3. Yeah.
That's right. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider, Halo 5. I mean, I know people didn't like Halo 5, the story, but like it was a great game too. They had a lot of great games that came out the generation. They had Gears in there, like all those kinds of great stuff in there. And I thought that generation was more consistent. This one, has not been consistent at all. It's been whatever. Now, in terms of the Sony thing, people are comparing the ass end of Sony's PS4 to the beginning of PS5. If you actually look at the beginning of the PS4, nothing was talked about for the first 3 years. It's only until Uncharted 4 came out, and then the cascade came.
It was a teeter-totter.
Well, guys,
yeah.
Look at what's happening now. We're into year 3, and then when year 3.5 comes and they start talking about first, then they're going to have literally the formula's the same. So you'll see that. So that's where Xbox has to be consistent.
Yeah, and I don't want to dwell on the past, obviously, because this year is when Xbox and PlayStation both have 4 great games on each side. And I made that video last week where you got Ronin and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't even want to think about it. 4 great games on PlayStation, 4 great games on Xbox, all in 2024. And it's that teeter-totter effect, Mag, where PlayStation's got all these bangers at the beginning of the year, and then I don't think they have anything, otherwise we would have heard, for the end of the year, and Xbox has all this stuff pushed to the end of the year. So it's going to be like this teeter-totter effect. I got to read these questions as well. Highlander, thank you so much for gifting 5 channel memberships. Those of you who get or join as a channel member, you get videos early, some 12 hours before they go up, except for today where I literally finished the editing and I released a 1080p HD video today, 1080p 60. It wasn't even in 4K. It's like one of my first non-4K videos in 7 years, but I needed to get it out there, and thank you everybody for supporting that. Maybe you're here because you just finished watching the video. Welcome to the XC Podcast. Danny Passion Official says, thank you for the 5, Danny. He says, the meme used to be Xbox has no games. Now that PlayStation is the one that has no games, Xbox says, let's share our games with them. I got to speak on this because right now PlayStation's first party owned studios have not announced anything new. We don't know officially what they're working on. And now you've got Xbox saying, hey, we've got all these games. We'll take care of you, PlayStation. We'll take care of you. Eric Goff,
but you know what, though?
What?
To push back a little bit, Sony has released quite a bit of first-party games in the first 3 years.
And they have, but half of them have been remasters.
Mag, well, Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank, no. Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, just to name a few. That's 4. That's pretty. Those are 4 pretty big. Gran Turismo 7. Are they on 7 now? I don't even know. I hate Gran Turismo. I'm not a fan of it. But yeah, Pony. But I'm just saying. Ride Pony. Here we go. All right. But I'm just saying they released those, and now they're a little quiet. Everybody's like they got no games. All right,
they're fine. They're fine.
They'll be just fine.
If you wanted to complain, their first-party studios are lagging way behind in announcing games. So Xbox has some they're lagging behind as well. Who was it that said? Oh man, the chat's moving. Thank you guys so much. Mash2481 says, we just hit 420 likes. Let's go. Yes, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We got a ton of more information to give you about Game Pass and about what Xbox is doing behind the scenes. Xbox versus Microsoft. Eric Goff, thank you so much for the 5. He says, really didn't expect them to do this for another console generation at least. Meaning he doesn't think they would push their games out elsewhere until they move into the next generation. We don't know until Phil and the team speak up next week. This could be like the plan that they're doing when they start next generation. Maybe Phil's going to say something like, we're planning on starting next generation early, and we're going to make some big changes. But I will tell you guys, I'm very, very, very confident that Xbox is not ditching the console, but there's other ramifications about the console right now that we also have to talk about. I don't even have a topics list. Meg and I have just been stewing this in our gut and in our brains all weekend, so we're just going to try and give you all the information we have. There is going to be a next generation console. Mag's going to talk a lot about that hardware roadmap in just a minute. Dub, Thank you so much for the chat. He says, thing I don't understand is what was the point of working so hard in court? Sega, Square, if you're going to pivot in this direction.
They didn't pivot because this was their plan from the beginning. They wanted to be a publisher.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, if all else fails, which it's not, let me reiterate that, it's not failing. But it's not doing as well as they wanted to, they can always just be a publisher, which is what their plan was anyway. The other thing is, too, there's a lot of in-house fighting, which, can I get into that, or should we wait?
Let's get into it. People have been waiting to hear some of the... I'm going to forewarn you, some of this that we're talking about is can be speculative. Some of this can be assumptive. Some of this can be inside information. Some of this might have been leaked information. But Meg and I are going to talk to you about it in a very careful way, and I'm going to let Meg kind of lead that conversation. But this is kind of where we're at. So go ahead, Mag.
Well, I've heard, like I said, take this all with whatever grain of salt, size grain of salt you want to take it with. I've heard that there's been a bone of contention, not from the management of these acquired publishers and studios and so on and so forth. It's more of the people involved, where they're looking at the way that their salaries work, the way their bonuses work. I'm not going to get into all that because I'm not there. I bet, Phil's probably screaming right now, going, "That's not." But hey, listen, this is just what I've heard from other people who are there. And they said that he would get paid based on performance bonuses of sales and that kind of thing or whatever, and revenue and all this. And all of a sudden you go to a company that's no longer reporting sales. And then, of course, they've got a subscription service that's not actually based on a sales metric, right? And it's a whole different thing. Now they're coming in saying, well, what happened to my bonus? I get like 10 grand at the end of the year that I can go to, the Bahamas with my family or something. I don't know.
Or
and
Oregon.
I'm not saying that they're... Yeah, exactly. Oregon, of course. That's where everybody's going. That's where everybody's going. But the thing is, now they're looking at it, they're like, well, how's this going to work now, and what's happening? And then all of a sudden, what happens? Then the Blizzard thing happens, right? And then people started getting panicky. And now one of the people, I'm just going to say people, reached out to me and said that they wanted this information out there because they weren't happy with the direction that things were going. And that's when I got the green light on Friday to start talking about it. And it was literally at the point now where we're talking about we need to shake the cages. You know what I mean? We need to shake the grass a little bit to get the snakes moving. And
hold that thought. I want to
Sure.
say, well, before you continue, that it sounds to me, Meg, like there are people on the inside that are on the Xbox side. I would assume people that are trying to protect their job and the
Sure.
value of the brand that are saying, let's get this information out to the people who talk to Nate the Hate. Let's get this information out to people like Jeff Grubb or these other people who have a platform, and let's stage like a quasi coup of some sort where if they report on this, it will light a fire and Microsoft will have
That's
to
exactly it.
deal with the mess they put on other people that don't want to be pushed to put their games everywhere and devalue the brand Xbox.
That was what was asked of me.
Okay.
Now the thing is, I know and I understand, and that I don't have to actually have my own channel or platform to be part of the conversation. My name was splashed all over some of the biggest YouTubers on YouTube, and of course on media when I was talking about some of the other stuff about 3 weeks ago or so, right? And then imagine my surprise when I'm working out and I see IGN reporting on me. I almost spit my drink out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't drink and exercise. I was talking about water, but yeah. So I'm sitting there going,
Right.
what? And then all of a sudden you hear things like gaming insider, middle-aged game guy, blah 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 blah. And I bet you there's a million people out there going, who the hell is that guy? But anyways, the point is it gets out there, and that's what one of the things that they talked about is that they said they wanted this out there because they weren't happy in the direction things were going, or wanted a little bit more clarification and information as to what is actually happening because they're not getting it at work.
Right.
So that is a situation, and now this shakes more information from people. It's like hanging someone from their ankles outside the balcony and saying, "Tell me everything you know," and then they're going to tell you everything they know because you're hanging them by their ankles. And Microsoft is hanging by their ankles right now.
It sounds like a
outside the
very
window.
desperate move, like to go to these people. Like Shinobi heard things, Nate the Hate. I know that Jez has been trying to talk to people. I have really close friends that heard things and deleted tweets because they didn't want them written in articles like you did. It's been really, really scary. And when you've got
Sure.
Microsoft is trying to get this business plan put together, they got to get this strategy together, and the fans find out, what the crap are you doing? I mean, just today they announced that you could get Final Fantasy, but you have to pay for Game Pass when all the other platforms don't make you pay for an online service.
Yeah.
These our
I know,
voices
I
have to
saw-
be heard, and Xbox says
I
they're
saw that,
listening when
yeah.
we're constructive. Yeah, I know. I don't
But,
even want to get into it.
no,
let
and,
me move into a
that's
couple
what's
questions,
Go
and
on,
then
go on.
we'll move into a couple questions, and I want to finish talking about that. We got Nerdy Nate. Thank you so much for the 5. He said, I'll put my pension on it that Sony will end up doing the same thing down the road. Nerdy Nate, I'm glad you say that, because when people hear this, they get so angry because they think, why in the world would PlayStation ever have to put their games other places? And I am willing to bet. Another thing I'll stake I'll put the flag down on the moon right now and tell you that when they start the PS6 in 2028, their games will all be day and date on PC, because that is all going to dissolve away. And I've heard from people that are not fanboys or don't pick sides that say this is going to become the norm. PlayStation is eventually going to do it. I know it looks like they don't need to, and it looks like Xbox needs to. That's why it's been so divisive right now. Nerds and Other Legends, thank you for the $5 super. Xbox marketing is as awful as a pair of balls without Manscaped. Use the promo code X and C, everyone.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
They're terrible.
And you know what? Sin said something without super chatting, but I caught it in the chat here because the chat is flying. And he said, "What do you think the morale is like right now at the Xbox Game Studios?"
Horrible.
That's another thing. That's the other thing. So now the thing is, if the morale is down, that's when people reach out to me and to other people and say, "Start talking." Because we need, this is the only way that people will listen. It happens in my corporation too, which of course I'm not going to say where, but it's happened before where people will go to the press and they'll talk to anybody and they'll just be like, listen, this is what's happening, this is what's going down, or whatever. And all of a sudden a news article gets out there, and guess what? Then everybody starts running scared because they're going, oh my God, how did it get out? This and that, because they're trying to push things under the rug. They got too many employees to deal with. They don't have time to listen to everybody. And that's the way it goes. And the only way you to do it is to be sensational. And I mean, sensation is not being sensational as in wonderful. I mean, the sensationalism of social media is what grabs everybody's attention. And that is the way to do it. And that's why they reach out. And like I said, I woke up Friday, 6 a.m., and I always check my phone because it's always right next to me. And I looked at my phone and I got the message saying, you got the green light. Tell them everything on Monday. And I said, I will do it on Monday night. Of course, it didn't make it to Monday night because everybody else got their hands on it. But you know what? I'm actually glad because I didn't want my name splashed all over the place. I actually
absolutely. I know the Xbox era gets like all the glory, but with that glory comes massive, massive stress. Straw Hat, I've got you next up on the board. You're on the On Deck circle. Saturday night, after you and I talked about this leak and how you said we were going to talk about it Monday, I sat down and fittingly watched a movie that reminded me of this whole situation that you and I talked about. I watched the 20-year-old movie Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson. And in that movie, he's a Navy pilot and they get shot down behind enemy lines in Bosnia. And it's a really tense movie, and they're trying to get him, but like the foreign relations say, you're going to cause a crap storm if you send the military over there. And so the head admiral does exactly what you told me was going on behind with Xbox. Head admiral snuck off in the corner, called the media, and leaked that they had an American behind enemy lines, and the media blew it up. And this is exactly what we saw happen. We talked Saturday or Friday? I think it was Friday.
No, it was Friday.
So I watched Behind Enemy Lines on Saturday. This is what we saw happen on Sunday morning. You got the media out in front and they're saying what is going on. Everyone was talking about it because I was being criticized, Mag, for, oh, Colt, you're just in your little bubble, your little Twitter bubble. No one really cares. And then when you see every news outlet talking about it, you realize everybody who cares about gaming cares. And we'll also talk today about if Xbox ever bowed out at some capacity, we would be in a horrible place as consumers. Let me go to, I saw somebody write whistleblower. I love it. Straw Hat Gaming, thank you so much for 5. And thank you for being patient as I get to these. Meg and I have so much to talk about. We were like behind the scenes. Bro, I can't wait to talk on front. Can't wait to talk. Straw Hat Gaming, thank you, says, who cares? We still get games on Game Pass day one, and they'll pay $70 on PlayStation and Nintendo after timed exclusivity. You'd think that would be great. Maybe that's our next topic we'll talk about next, because it's not that simple. All right, let me grab a couple of these.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, Mag. We talked about that on Friday. Eric Goff, thank you for the 5. He says, when all digital is all we get, I'm just going to play old classic games on emulators. There was somebody in the chat who said something about playing, I won't even name him because it's such a dumb comment, about playing these games at a better FPS. Like, I'm literally spent all week playing Enshrouded on my PC. If games didn't run well on console, I play them on PC. I play wherever I want. And I plead with you guys, if you can afford a secondary place to play your games other than one piece of plastic, you'll have more options and more flexibility available to you, and you'll be happier because you won't be stuck in one place and not have any options other than insult people. We love you guys so much. Ooh, I hear sirens. They're coming for me.
They're coming for you.
Said about it. We got over 2,000 people. Hit the like button. Let's see. Are we going to get to 500? That'd be amazing. Yes, we did. You guys are awesome. I'm running out of breath. Highlander001, thank you so much for the 5. He said, I said on Twitter that if Microsoft puts their games on PlayStation, Microsoft will be telling people to just buy, will be telling people who buy an Xbox to get a PS5 or PC. And Meg, if they say we're going to put games on PlayStation several months or a year after, all of those diehard PlayStation fans will say, I'll just wait a year. No problem.
Well, it's just like the PC players. What do the PC guys always say? I'll wait till it comes on PC. And so they do the same thing. And if that's the route you want to go ahead. No one's stopping anybody from doing anything. The only thing that I have a problem with is that you're losing people that are going into that Xbox ecosystem because your messaging is ass trash. And that's the problem, and that people are just not going to adopt the Xbox ecosystem outside of the hardcore. And judging by what I'm reading in this chat, you know, a lot of people are just fed up with that too. They're off the PC and whatever else. And that's fine. You have the options to do so. It's just the way that they've been treating the Xbox name has been not disrespectful. I don't want to say disrespectful, but certainly mishandled. That's the best way I can say it. And so what it does is that it creates a perception that nobody wants to be there. And the thing is, I watched videos today, like even 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos. These are folks that have like 500,000, 700,000, 1.8 million subscribers, this and that, and they're all saying the same thing about like they're basically Xbox is done, right?
Yeah.
It's not done. It's not done. Hear me out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what they're saying. If they're saying that and they've got millions of people watching their show, what do you think's going to happen? You've literally created a whole new narrative that they're done, and it's going to get inside of people's heads. And when it gets inside people's heads, it's hard to get it out. It's hard to change people's habits. You cannot it's
that reminded me of a character on a movie or something. I don't know what it was. I love it.
It's like Yoda. It's like, not what you are doing. Yeah. So it's you know what it's about. You must unlearn what you've learned. You can't unlearn what you've learned. You can't put this back in the box. And the problem is now it's out. And the thing is, it's that perception now with the normies and everybody else, whatever. Yeah. The Xbox hardcore are going to stay there. No one's going anywhere. Guys, listen. I hear some of you guys saying out there, they're saying, I'm trading in my Xbox. Go ahead. It's fine. You have the option to do so. But I mean, I know there's some people that are just kind of saying that just to threaten people. It's like when people saying they're moving to Canada because when Trump won the election. And I'm like, all right, I'll be at Pearson International Airport.
You ain't
and I'm
getting the
count.
moving van. You're not moving your China cabinet or your Beanie Babies cupboard. You're not doing it.
I was at Pearson International Airport, and I waited, and I didn't see a single American moving into Canada when Trump won. So, I mean, it's, there's a lot of that too. So, come on, it's the same thing. People still going to play on Xbox. They're going to do what they do, and you have the options. If you want to leave, go ahead and leave. But you're not going to get new people with shit messaging and marketing. Carry on, Colt.
Can I say something? I love that you said the thing about switching. I have to be careful about how you say this because I don't want people to think, hold the line. You have to be super careful when you say, I'm going to switch, or people say, I'm going to go. Somebody told me in a comment section of my video, I sold my Series X or whatever. And I think,
and it's fine.
Did you really? Because the problem with in the modern times, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a warning. You can't just sell your Series X and then say, I'm going to go on PlayStation. If you're okay it's hard to say. Most of us probably own a couple of hundred games digitally on our Xbox account, right? At least. Is that a fair number? Like all of us here, sure. If you're all 2,000 of you here, I'm sure you all own a couple of hundred games on your Xbox account that are playable on your current console. And if you're okay with saying, all right, I'll never play Assassin's Creed Odyssey unless I want to go rebuy it. I'll get it when it's $10, whatever. That's fine. But to throw away, the poll I put up was where you earn your achievements and where your friends are online and the games you own. These are really the more compelling reasons why you play on a certain platform over another. And so when you say I'm going to switch, I say, hey, if you want to stick it to them, if you want to unsub to Game Pass to show them you mean business, by all means, I'm all for that. Hey, there's Red Wolf in the chat. Awesome. I was actually going to call him today. I'm all for that. Like, hey, I got rid of my Blockbuster account like way back in the day thinking I'd stick it to the man. They didn't even know who I was. They don't care. But hey, you can do that. You can sell your console and you can take whatever money you get and kind of invest in the PlayStation games if you want to do that. Just be careful think first about what you're going to lose, the access to your friends and the games you already own. But by all means, show Xbox that if this is plan B and they plan on doing this in the future, if this is something that they've told their studios, we've talked about this on the show, that maybe all of this really comes from that Phil and Matt Booty and Sarah Bond said, hey, studios, you may be making PlayStation versions of games if we don't meet a certain sales metric by the end of the next fiscal year. And then that conversation has made its way around and it's caused infighting within Microsoft and Xbox. I know I'm talking a lot. Do you kind of get where I'm saying with this? Like this, we could hear, I'll say this last thing, Meg. Next week, Phil could basically tell us, this is what we're doing, and the answer could be half as bad as we thought it was all weekend, but I still don't want that half as bad at all.
Yeah. Now, can I say one thing about this whole thing that we've been talking for an hour and 3 minutes, and not saying a damn word. Go ahead and clip this. Put it wherever, or if you don't care, then whatever. I want you to hear something. None of this matters. I don't care how many times you promise me something. I don't care how many times you say, we're here for you, we're listening, we're this, we're that. You could say it till you're blue in the face, and you have for a decade. If you can't produce consistently great games that gamers actually want to play, then it doesn't effing matter how many promises, how many visions of the future, how many whatever. You will not go anywhere beyond where you are if you do not produce consistently great games. Is that pretty much effing clear to everybody? We can talk until 2 a.m, okay, about all this stuff and the visions of the future and the promises and the we hear yous and the this and the that. But if you have 3 out of your 4 first-party games in 2023 were either mid or way lower, you are not going anywhere. You are going to continue to have the same amount of people you have now, and you're going to have the same amount of people that you had on Xbox One and in the future. You're not going to grow anywhere if you're not making compelling software. Thank you. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Bro, what a
like piss off already.
Human's like let him cook. And then Preston was like, we will not go quietly into the night. Yes, Meg, it's absolutely. Who was it? Oh shoot, I forgot his name. He's a movie creator. He's like a small films creator who told Phil today, great games will sell consoles. And I was like, but Phil said no. But what Phil said was great games will not outsell PlayStation consoles. Because they're thinking bigger than that. But if you don't have, Meg, I'm not even going to repeat. Your speech is perfect. Games,
you're not going to. Oh God, I want to say so many things. But the thing is, if you don't have great games, you're not. It doesn't matter. They're like, well, we're not going to outsell Sony. Well,
Stephen Ford, thank you, Holly.
Not if you're releasing if you're releasing Redfalls and Forza Motorsports the way they are. In the condition they are. By the way, you know what I heard today from a very big YouTuber? He was talking about today, very disappointed the fact that he said that the modding community has walked away from Starfield. They're done with it. They're going back to Skyrim. This is insane. The game is 11 years old, and the modders have gone back to Skyrim and have abandoned Starfield. This is not a great look. This is not
that's out of context. That's out of context. A few of the modders said we're done. We're gonna go do something else. We're gonna go back to Skyrim. But I mean, there is some truth to it. Like I've poured over the mods. Where are the best mod I got was a booty mod. Like where's the great mods?
Whoa.
Like Red Wolf wants the survival. He wants the survival mode. Forget I said that. All right, Meg.
No,
Meg,
I want a Stellar Blade. I want Stellar Blade booty mod in my Starfield, and you bet your ass, no pun intended, I'm going back to outer space, baby. I got things to look at.
Okay.
Woo!
Top Gun Zero, yes, I did. I explained it in my video. Go watch my video. Yes, I explained why Xbox Series is not outselling the Xbox One. Yeah, go watch that. Hey, you work for me, Top Gun Zero now. You work for me. Hurry up. Go open up a second tab and watch it. Watch both these at once. And hit like on both of them.
Buy Manscaped, by the way. Buy Manscaped.
Hey, Top Gun Zero. Shave them.
That's it.
And don't use the guard, all right? Don't use the guard. Wait, I'm probably not supposed to say that.
A happy gamer is a bald gamer. Just ask this guy right here, okay? I lost, I'm like 2 pounds lighter. When Colt and I run races, we beat people by like 0.8 of an Olympic second simply because we don't have any body hair.
There's no friction on the air molecules when it comes down to
none.
Yeah.
Yep. It's remarkable.
20% off the code Ecstasy for Manscaped. Yeah. Jay the Earp, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, good excuse to finally switch to PC. At least Xbox has smart delivery. Do we know that PC Game Pass numbers? We don't. I think they're at like 30 million, and I think that 70+% of Game Pass subscribers are on console. Another thing that we'll talk about is Xbox has to keep the console relevant enough, or we're going to keep missing games from Japanese studios or smaller indies that say, it's not worth our time if Xbox just become more irrelevant. The Don, CGJ, thank you for the £2 super chat. He says, when everybody plays, we all win. This is evolution. I mean, he ain't wrong. In the future.
True. No, that's all. Hey, man, do what makes you happy. Dig what you dig. Play what you want to play. Have fun, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. You know what? I won't say nobody, but like very few people like crap all over me because I'm playing with Xbox guys in Call of Duty, but I'm playing it on PlayStation. I don't see them going, you pony. No, you know what we're doing? We're having a good time. We're having fun. Who cares? Like, what's the difference, man?
Let's get into the Game Pass changes next. I'll read a couple more of these. Lieutenant Hulk, thank you for the 5, says, if PlayStation's trying to kill Xbox, why would they allow Xbox games on PlayStation if the goal is to put Xbox out of business? PlayStation's goal isn't to put Xbox out of business. PlayStation's goal, if anything, is to make Xbox just less relevant, because in the end, the most of their sales come from third-party multiplats that they don't own or have anything to do with. Like, that box is all about selling everybody else's games. Same for Xbox, and they do a decent job of it. Grandpa's Barbecue Gamecast says, I think Xbox will release their 2026 rumored console. Your thoughts? Thank you for the Australian 5. Yes, Mag, keep me on track. Let's talk about the Xbox hardware roadmap after we talk about Game Pass. Sure. Ichabod Crane, thank you for the 5. He says, I play games.
Crane?
The Ink Abod Crane. Love it. I play games everywhere, he says.
Yes.
What's that?
No, nothing. Carry on.
He says, but 95% of the time is on Xbox and PC. That sounds like me. This doesn't change anything for me. Thank you for that.
Yeah. It doesn't change anything for me either.
It only changes something if Phil comes out and goes, we tried. We want you guys to all return your Xbox consoles to Target, and we'll go from there. We're going to do a government buy-in program. Highlander001 with the $2 super. Thank you. He says, I hope they do not change Game Pass.
Let me see. There's going to be okay, Colt. Well, isn't that a great segue for you to get right into this situation?
Yeah, it is. If you've left super chats, I will get to them ASAP. Let's talk about the changes for Game Pass. Tim Dog is trending on Twitter right now. My good friend, who is really super angry about what's going on. I've talked to him a lot on the phone. He's been doing big spaces, which are podcast style things on Twitter. He's really what's the word? Disgruntled. And he's really angry with Phil for not standing up and fighting against what Microsoft wants. Also, he says, according to him, that Xbox has 3 approaches that may come simultaneously with new changes for Game Pass. Number 1, Xbox was already supposed to be implementing ads within your games on the lowest tier of Game Pass, which maybe there might be another tier of Game Pass coming where the regular Game Pass, which is $10 a month or $11, whatever it is, could have ads in the middle of your games to keep it affordable. This is ultra sucky. The other thing is that they were supposed to already implement the ads thing in Game Pass. The other thing is that they may push first-party day-and-date games to only the ultimate tier of Game Pass, which is around $17 a month. Oh, and then one more, and then I'll give it to Mag so he can give you what he thinks is going on in his opinion. Hopefully you're tracking these things I'm telling you, Mag. Number 3.
Yeah, no, I knew about him, yeah.
Number 3 is that Activision doesn't want to put Call of Duty on Game Pass at all until 5 to 6 months after it's already been released, when no one cares. All right, Mag, what do you think about this?
You know what?
Game
All
Pass
of it makes sense. And I haven't gotten any confirmation on any of this. This is all just speculation that I've heard from you. And actually, no one has approached me about this information.
No
so
confirmation from me as well, I'll say. Thank you, Mag. Go ahead.
So this is just speculation, but let's just, for argument's sake, say that this was coming to fruition. If it were, it would make ultimate sense. And the reason why is because this is what's trending in Hollywood. And what's happening is a lot of these streaming services, they came about during the pandemic, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, when everybody was sitting on their ass getting paid to do nothing. All right, except for eat and watch Netflix, and then Disney Plus showed up, and then Peacock, and then all the other ones, and HBO Max, and
Hey, watch your language.
What did they do? I know, eh? And the thing is, what ended up happening at the end of the day is that they made a fortune. Right? Everybody was home. The engagement was way up. Video game engagement was way up. People were buying consoles and software and this and that. Then what happened? The bubble started to burst in Hollywood for multiple reasons. I'm not going to get into the identity politics and all their bullshit, crap and whatever else that's going on in Hollywood. And you know what I mean, and the culture war that's happening over there. I'm not going to get into any of that. However, that's part and parcel with the fact that a lot of people went back to work, and then what ended up happening, engagement started to drop. Then what ended up happening, they start raising their prices, engagement drops again. Then they don't have enough compelling, we'll call it TV shows, movies, whatever, and then that's going to spill over into software, like in the Game Pass sort of thing, right? So they start raising the prices again. Then they start creating multiple tiers. Then they start talking about advertisement. Now they're implementing advertisements. Like even on Amazon, like how crazy is that? You get Amazon Prime, you're an Amazon Prime member, but if you're not paying top tier, they're still going to make you watch ads about Amazon on the thing that you're paying Amazon Prime for. But they're doing it because it's not a sustainable business, because they're not making enough money. And what's happening is there's too much money going out, not enough money going in on a consistent basis. That being the case, Game Pass, I could absolutely see going the exact same route. I could see them utilizing advertisements in the lower tiers. You want to pay $10? No problem. But, you're going to see a Pepsi Cola ad in the middle, maybe not in the middle of a boss battle, but you might see like 5 minutes of ads at the beginning of the game. Or every time you boot up.
That's the dumbest thing ever. No one wants that. Like, we've all had Netflix or whatever before there were ads. Go ahead. So dumb.
Hey, listen, I'm not advocating this. I'm just telling you like it. I'm just telling you like it is. Roku is an example too, where I really wanted to watch that movie with Daniel Radcliffe, the one about Weird Al Yankovic.
Right.
That's sort of like a docu-comedy. And I wanted to watch it. It was only available on whatever the hell that is. Is it called Roku? Anybody in the chat help me out?
Yeah, I think it was a Roku service. We watched it.
Right. And you have to watch. Right, but what ends up happening? You have to watch advertisements in order to watch the movie. You have no choice, right? So I could see that every time you boot, let's say you pay the $10 a month for Game Pass, right? I could see absolutely that you're going to get a slew, 3 to 5 minutes of advertisement every time you boot up the Xbox, and you're going to play a Game Pass game from the lowest tier. Maybe the next tier, maybe not as many commercials.
I wouldn't think the commercials would be after you've booted up the game. It's probably has you watch an ad and then it launched the game and that's it. That's
what I'm saying.
The next time you boot it up, right? Yeah. Stupid.
Yes.
Stupid.
But then when you turn it off, you go eat dinner, and you want to go back to your game, you're probably going to have to watch another slew of commercials to continue the game. I could absolutely see that happen. It's not going to interrupt the game. You're not going to be in the middle of doing like an 18-hit combo in Mortal Kombat, and all of a sudden they're like, this combo brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola, that's right, folks. Pepsi Cola, this 18-hit combo
brought to you by
Pepsi
Rubber
Cola.
Band Emporium.
Yeah, that's not
the problem is that people will just say, man, this sucks, and they'll just deal with it because it's a couple bucks cheaper. I hate it.
And it's cheap.
And I've been guilty of that too.
The nefarious thing, and this is the thing that I'm really starting to get pissed off with all these subscription services, and this is where it's going to make myself, as well as many other consumers, start to become a little bit more frugal with the subscription services, because they started off at a thing where like I had like 4 or 5 subscriptions, including Game Pass at one point, and it was like $50 for all of them.
Yeah.
Now it's like $175 to $200 for the exact same amount of thing. So now I'm starting to sit there going, well, do we really need this? Because I only watch one show on there, or whatever. And then when you watch that show, the next season doesn't come out for another 2 years. That's when you start becoming a little more frugal as a consumer, right? And that's where you're going to run into problems. And that's what's happening. People are starting to pick and choose. Life is certainly not getting easier. It's certainly getting more expensive. And now, if you want to get into the egregious side of things, like we were talking about the Call of Duty stuff and whatever else, if that were to actually come to fruition, there's no need for Game Pass. I'll just buy it. Like I said it before. If I want to game, I don't pay for Game Pass. I'm not subscribed to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And because I didn't see the value in it. I just I'm not playing all these games. I'm not playing Dave or whatever his name is, Dave the Diver and stuff. I'm not playing those games. I have a very limited amount of time to play games, and I have a backlog that I still have to dig through, and I'm having a great time playing some great games. I'm just paying for a service that I'm not utilizing. It's like a guy who buys a gym membership in January. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the year he's just paying for nothing.
Attacked.
So, well, you know what? If I want a game and it's a great game and an Xbox or Microsoft releases a great game, I'll just go buy it. I'll buy it and I'll play it. I'll consume it however I want to.
If you're not playing all those games, like Hargeet Chani plays so many games in there, like just buy what you want, but a la carte's like really, really cool. Let's talk about all of the day and date exclusives from first party studios being pushed up to Ultimate Game Pass only.
I could see that. I could see that. I can see it too. I can see that.
Holy smokes. Detective Seed's our good friend. Great. Like, I want to call him an up and coming game reviewer because he's just like blown up to like, I think he's at probably 20,000 subs. Don't quote me on it. I could check, but I think he's somewhere around there. He might even be higher. But he just donated 60 channel memberships, and all of you that got a channel membership, you get early access. You also get the slew of, or using the word slew a lot tonight, of channel badges that come on. Like if you go in the comment section of videos of my videos of this stream, you can add those little icons in as you say something. Like you can say, I don't like Mag, and then you put the Craig Brute in there. Like you can say, Mag is ugly, and then you just put one of these in here because it looks like him with a mohawk. There you go.
You can do whatever you like.
Do whatever you want.
It's incredible donation, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Chris R, he said in the chat, he goes, I don't like Mag's World, LOL. I know he's just joking around, but you know what? It's not my world. I'm just telling you what makes sense. I'm not saying it's happening, and we're just speaking on speculation. So we're not
services are king right now, though. Everyone has 8 different subscription services that they mostly enjoy. So
and everybody had cable at one point too, and what ended up happening? Then people started cutting the cord, or because it started getting out of hand. Yeah. And that's what's already happening now. The bubble has burst, and now people are starting to cut back. The only one in the game now. I mean, while PS Plus is in there or whatever, but like the way the Game Pass is going, if that were to go in that direction, it's not gonna do so hot. It's just gonna it's just gonna be status quo. Whatever it is now, that's what's gonna be there.
Well, I mean, Xbox said they're making $3 to $4 billion. I'll say $3 billion in profit a year just from Game Pass, and it's not growing exactly the way they want. So I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Pushing Polygons, who's the channel member sponsor for the Xbox Superclass, said it's becoming like the whole cable thing over and over. He wrote that I'm paraphrasing him. He also just gifted 20 channel memberships to everybody here in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome to the family. People have asked, I'll address this real quick. Colt, what are you going to do? Somebody asked me, what are you going to do with your channel name and your banner and stuff? Like, well, my channel name is a drawing of me I did in blue and red. That's been my branding. I've got the Colteastwood neon banner. If I wanted to, I could just make this a Beanie Babies channel. And I like to produce content. But I'm going to continue to talk about Xbox, their games, their hardware roadmap. Let's talk about Call of Duty really quickly, about Call of Duty completely skipping Game Pass. And I'm going to read a couple of questions, and then we'll get into the hardware roadmap. Thank you guys so much for being here. We have well over 2,000 most of the time. Meg, I'll give my opinion really quickly. if they decide to not put Call of Duty in Game Pass, stupid. Stupid. Maybe the numbers say that they're going to make more money selling it to everybody, like without giving it to people in Game Pass. But I mean, Hargeet and I crunched the numbers. You can make a lot more money, at least we thought, being in game, getting people growing in Game Pass. Meg, what's your thoughts about Call of Duty skipping launch?
Yeah, I could absolutely see that, because they know that the people who do play Call of Duty will pay for it, no problem. Most people that I know that pay that play Call of Duty, myself included, buy that $130 whatever edition with, like, you know, like the season pass thing or whatever. Like, so the Vault edition, I think it's called, or something like that, like the deluxe one. Most people just buy that. Like, very few people buy the base game. Just like, all right, I'm just going to buy like the $70 whatever. No, most people that are into Call of Duty buy the deluxe one. To Xbox, to Microsoft,
to get early and all the extra stuff. Yeah.
Right. And they're probably sitting there going, why the hell would we put it on the service when we know that these people will dish out the coin for that game specifically, because they got a gold mine out there. Right?
Dang.
So I could see that. Niga Matix, you guys look old. He goes, you guys look old. Why games? I don't know. Maybe, how about this? Hey, Niga Matix, you look dumb. Why English? Because you certainly don't know how to speak it. Carry on, Colteastwood. And it's, by the way, it's spelled the Matrix, not Matix. Yeah. Morpheus, there's a glitch in the Matix.
What's his name?
Niga Matix? I don't know. Is it a black cat, or is it the same black cat? I don't know. I just saw like it's a glitch. It's a glitch in the Matix. Agent Smith is on his way. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, you pissed me off with that line.
Hold on.
You guys look old. Why games?
I have to know.
What do you want us to do?
I have
Scream? Yeah, sorry.
I have to know. Wait a minute. Somewhere at the hour and 20-something mark.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just yeah.
Like a few weeks ago, somebody super chatted $4 and had me say a phonetic speak of a Spanish vulgarity. And I totally didn't get it. Yeah. Like I was totally saying, like suck my chong or whatever in Spanish. And I was like, something chupa or whatever it was. And I totally didn't get. The next day, the guy goes, bro, you said something so disgusting in Spanish. I'm like, well, hey, Critico with the God of War picture, Xbox rip. He's going to be the first one. Hey, chat, right. Go say hi to him. He's the first one that's going to be lining up. Please, Father, for me knickers, give me some games. Give me Xbox games, Father. I've had the same swill since the PS4. Thank you, Father. Remasters. Yeah, he's gonna like, no Until Dawn remaster. I don't want to play Uncharted again. I already played it 900 times. Give me those Xbox games. My name's Critico, and I need those Xbox games. He'll be lining up. All right, Meg, let me get back to these supers. I love you, bro. You're amazing. Carlos Fontes with a $5 super says, in an alternate reality where Xbox rolled out sequels to Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive, do you think it would have made a difference? No, because I think Quantum Break just kind of laid flat. Sunset Overdrive also loved the game, but it kind of just laid there. It sold like 3 million copies. So no, I don't think it would have, Carlos. Matt Houston, thank you for the Canadian 5. He says, how about Suicide Squad? Having fun with it so far? I'm going to say, I hate it. I hate it. Ooh, I played 3 hours of the beta or the alpha or whatever, which don't you say it was just the alpha. It's the exact beginning it's the first 3 hours of the game with very little change. I played it last night for an hour. I cannot stand it. I know it's going to bother people. I normally don't just hate a game. I say it's not for me and I just ditch it. When I'm playing it, I feel like it is such a chore to get these characters to move where they're supposed to go. And I didn't want to shoot random generic purple aliens. I do not like the game. I'm going to stick with it. I've been playing Enshrouded on Steam. It's a little cutesy little RPG survival game that's coming to Xbox and PlayStation soon. So keep an eye out for it. It's cool. It's going to have gameplay, but Mag and I have too much to say. So I'm sorry about Suicide Squad. Here, one more thing. Gotham Knights, way better. I'm sorry. Oh, and the reviews say so as
And
well.
Gotham Knights was terrible in my opinion. So if that's better than Suicide Squad, oh my lord!
I mean, you
in
haven't
heaven.
played Gotham Knights at all, Mag?
No, I finished it.
Oh, I mean, I was.
played Gotham
I
Knights.
liked
didn't
it.
like it. It was a glitchy, buggy,
I don't know.
slow ass 30, 25 frames per second. I did not like it.
It's a 68 on Metacritic, but I would give it like a good low 7. I'm glad I played it, but the difference between that and Suicide Squad, like I do not want to play it anymore. I just feel like it has no redeeming, enjoyable qualities for me. And I know that people like it, but the media just does not love it either. And I hate that I'm lumped in with the people that didn't like it. Ichabod Crane, thank you so much for the 5. And these are just my opinions, guys. And if someone says I didn't like Red Dead Redemption 2, it's boring, I'm like, oh man, I liked it. That's it. That's the end of it. Ichabod Crane with a 5 says, one thing Series X has that no one else has. I could put my old Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox original discs in and play them upgraded. I love that. And this is what we'll get in just a second about the Xbox hardware roadmap. I think some of that needs to stay forever, and hopefully it will, and I think it will. Pushing Polygons gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much. We also got, actually he did 10. And let me scroll down here. Also, we got one from, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. I might read these after I let Mag go. How about that? I'll get into those here in a minute. Mag and I got to talk about this hardware roadmap. Mag, lay it out, give the disclaimer, and let people know what's going on.
The exact same document that I received about all this third-party business and what's going on behind the scenes and the considerations of certain games and franchises going third-party. No one said it's for sure. It actually says are being considered, which means it's under discussion, right? So in that same document, it also talked about next-gen hardware. And I got some interesting tidbits. Now, like I said, here the disclaimer is that this is not fact. Okay, this has been told from me from a very reputable source. This person has been batting pretty damn close to 1,000 out of 1,000. Just to put that out there. But I'm just saying in general that this person is all the stuff that's happened. Okay, just to give you an example, all the stuff that has happened already this year. He's already nailed it like weeks in advance before any of that stuff has even come out. And so a lot of it we keep quiet. I've talked to you behind the scenes. I've talked to some other people behind the scenes about it. And then when it all comes to fruition, they're like, holy crap, he was right again. So this is the same information. Now, what we've heard about next-gen hardware, I've heard about next-gen hardware, is that, interestingly enough, it will be, Jason Ronald apparently is not doing it. He is not on the project. From what this source said. Like I said, take this as it is. Don't go to The Verge and be like, the mag said this, and the mag said that. This is what's just been told to me by somebody else, is that Jason Ronald is actually not leading the project for next generation.
The Xbox Gandalf?
That's correct. The next generation Xbox
Super
consoles. Yeah, he's a great guy. The next gen consoles will be made by the Surface team.
What?
Hey man, like I said, you
mean some leadership at the Surface is going to take the mantle of what's going on for the Xbox, not that it'll be a Surface type console.
Whether people believe it or not, it's entirely up to you. I'm just putting the information out there as I heard it.
Okay,
and
hold on.
Actually, the Surface. Yes.
Hold on. Moore's Law is Dead reported. I'm going to get this out here. This is also my next.
When did that happen?
He died.
Jeez.
You fool of a toque.
Fool of a toque.
More is
TMZ
dead.
Didn't even report it. Yeah, sorry. Go on. Unbelievable.
More is dead. Reported that Xbox had not signed a deal with AMD, who PlayStation and Xbox normally get their hardware built and designed from. Okay, he said that they had not signed anything, and that Intel swooped in because Intel's got this Intel Arc, this whole setup for PC, and they're trying to rival the affordability of Nvidia and AMD for you PC people out there. But for you console people out there, these pieces that are in PCs, like Xbox shops around and says, "Hey, what do you got? Toshiba, Samsung, Nvidia, AMD, right?" He reported that Intel was trying to cut a deal with Xbox to make the next console out of Intel Arc designed hardware. They don't even have an APU yet. Okay, I'm going to cover this in a video.
Sure.
That
I know nothing
was
about that.
highly contested amongst big name journalists and insiders that are really keyed in on what Xbox has planned for the future. Basically, they have said that Moore's Law, I'm sorry, I also should add, he said that Xbox isn't keen for 2026 for a console. They're going to go a year after PS6, which I'm like, what?
I don't see that.
I think that has been completely blasted. Xbox is still on track, as far as our best people know, for 2026 for a console. They're already in the middle of getting that console ready, Mag. So for people who said rest in peace Xbox, or Xbox is done, they're probably not going to do a new console after this. Like, all this is already set in order. Just there's going to be some changes. All right, Mag. So I interrupted you. They're working on a console. What else you got from the Surface team?
Well, it's going to be a multi. Now the other thing is that it's not going to be a single console. It's going to be a multi-SKU console. So it's going to be one under like a box under the TV, a la Series X.
Okay, you mean a powerful console, like the high-powered? Yes. Okay.
The other one, the cheaper SKU is
audience.
going. Yeah, the cheaper SKU is going to be a dockable. Going to be a dockable console a la Switch. Hence why it actually kind of makes sense that the Surface team is working on it. That seems like the kind of thing that they would do. And that would be the cheaper SKU that's going to sit under the... Well, I guess it would sit under the TV as well. But there's going to be a dedicated actual box console, and then there's going to be a dockable console.
Like a dockable handheld that would play games natively, not just... Now, I'm going to add to what you said, correct, Mag, that it's a dockable handheld console that is the rumored hybrid console, hybrid cloud, where it'll be made to play games on the cloud with a touchscreen, but also maybe have built-in controls so that you can play the games, which will actually finally be natively played on an actual native or an actual handheld console.
That is the word. And again, this will be headed up by the Surface team. So that's an interesting take. Now, like not a take, but it's an interesting bit of information. So that's what apparently is happening, and apparently the word is still that it's targeting late 2026. So
okay.
We shall see. I mean, like I said, this has just been this came across my plate. I'm just saying what it is. Whether people believe it or not is entirely up to them. I'm not even sure. I mean, it makes logical sense. Because look at the popularity of the Steam Deck, look at the popularity of the ROG Ally, things of that nature, right? So I could see that, and then even the PS Portal. I mean, the PS Portal, I understand that it's literally only a streaming device, but it's still a handheld that still has some kind of, tethered connection to a box. It's sold out everywhere. You can't buy them. They're sold out everywhere.
And we're hearing this week that PlayStation is actually working on a natively... next generation or this generation handheld that you can actually play games that are not through the cloud or whatever, or not remote. This, another thing that Mag explained to me over the phone is that, and this is interesting, like if I see people putting like barfing emojis. I don't know if they're saying, I don't want a handheld, which is weird. I hear that a lot.
No, I think they're just looking at our faces. Yeah, carry
on. We talked about how this handheld would be the next generation Series S. And I took that from my expertise or my knowledge of diving into hardware that this Xbox handheld in 2026 wouldn't be a direct power competitor to the Lenovo or the Steam Deck. It would be slightly less powerful, kind of like we see with the Series S. So like if you wanted to play games on this native handheld, you would have major compromises, which you already do with some of the handhelds, the way they are for power draw and battery life and stuff like that. So if you're looking at getting this dockable, more affordable, maybe it's $400 or $500 and the next console $600 because they may be going up in the future. This could be I mean, depending on how cool this thing looks, knowing that the Surface team does like that Apple style slick design, this could be a really cool piece of kit to play your games like, on the tube or on the train or whatever. That could be really cool. Oh, by the way, if you're writing like Xbox is done or rest in peace Xbox, yeah, we get you. we would love for you to like show some I don't know, like have a debate, like get into a conversation with the chat. The chat's here, they're listening. They would actually like to have a conversation with you that takes more than 2 brain cells, popping together like manscaped shaved testiculars. So yeah, I mean, bring something. I mean, this is a highbrow show, right, Meg? We pride ourselves, right?
Yes.
Let me get a couple supers before we move forward. Holt, Meg, I always make you remember, but I have a feeling you're way smarter and can remember stuff better than I can. Hold that thought. All right, let me see. Geez, I went quite a ways here. All right. This, Michael Mooney, thank you so much for the €5. It took me a second here to get reorganized. This sounds like Xbox putting Game Pass on PlayStation, but part of the agreement is Call of Duty not on Game Pass, but is Xbox getting something in return? I would look at this, Michael, like Xbox, if they stretch out beyond the console or to the competitor, that what they get in return is more money, and they dang well better pass the savings and the extra content onto us, or just make more games. But I'm still not happy with it. The Arcane, thank you for the $2 super, says midfield, PlayStation review, 10 out of 10, game of the generation. I guarantee you, Starfield on PS5, if it comes, will be an 88. Mark that.
Why not? I mean, you were right though, Colt, and that's not even just like
it's not
console warring. It's not, because the game had already been out for like a year and a half, and they fixed a lot of the bugs. They add the DLC, they do whatever. It's going to be a better package.
It will be.
Absolutely. And if there is a and it comes to a PS5 Pro, it's going to perform better. So absolutely, it's going to score better.
And on the PlayStation. We don't want to beta test games for the PlayStation. And if you want to wait and play them somewhere else, what?
You're a beta boy now. You're a beta boy now. There you go. Achievement unlocked. We're all beta boys.
That sound's going to go away because rest in peace, Xbox. Eric the Red.
Rest in peace, Xbox.
Did you try lasagna? Play the Sundays one. You have that one?
You like
why
hot
not?
fudge Sundays? All right.
Yeah.
Eric the Red, thank you for the $2. He says, Colt stops wearing glasses, it all goes downhill. Fade with the 250. Gosh, I love these contexts so much. Like in the morning, it's like, yes, one try. Fahad, thank you so much for the super. He says, to sum up, more profits for an identity loss. Sad. Well said. Right, Mag? More profits for the loss in identity.
I was leaning back like all casual away from the mic. That actually is well said, because that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, we didn't want that. Sad guy, thank you for the 5. He says, can Xbox get sued for false advertisement if this is true? No, I don't think they can get sued, but they've really broken a lot of promises if a lot of this stuff is actually coming out the way we said. I mean, there's been many times where Phil said, this is what we're doing. And I know some people don't like it when you say, Phil lied, Phil broke promises, but when you're telling your customers what you're going to give to them and you just never deliver it, I don't know what you call that. Call the Better Business Bureau?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
Centriviz Gaming. Thank you for the £5. Sending love and keep up the work. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let me get 2 more. We'll get back. Assassin, good friend of mine, says, Reset Era Leaker states Microsoft is officially going to stop putting first-party games on Game Pass. Apparently their games on Game Pass wasn't worth it. Yeah, I know. He knows we discussed that. Mike, thank you for the Canadian 5, says there's no Game Pass without Xbox and vice versa. A move like this will kill both. I agree. I think Game Pass is way more valuable than anybody understands.
Shout out to my friend, Mr. Boomstick XL, who I talked to on the weekend. And I value his opinions, obviously, hence why I speak to him personally. And we were talking about certain things, and he said, what you could see moving forward, and he said it before, he's saying it again, and you always say it, is that perhaps the future exclusivity is Game Pass. Because then you'll be able to, that it's the value, the value proposition is there. And that's what's going to be there, quote unquote, exclusive in the future, because no one else is going to have that except for PC, right? So, PlayStation's not going to have Game Pass. Nintendo's not going to have Game Pass. Ouya's not going to have Game Pass. Soldier Boy's handheld is not going to have Game Pass. So it's only going to be Xbox and PC. And because of that, you could essentially say in a roundabout way that is the new exclusivity. So yeah, I see that.
I know, and I got made fun of because I was parodying what Xbox will say to spin this, and the quote was, you'll get it first and you'll get it best on Xbox. Like if they release games on Game Pass on PC and Xbox before they go to PlayStation, that's what they'll tell. That's how they'll they'll put a pacifier in our mouth. Like, you'll get it first and you'll get it best because, you know, on PC, you could have it better than anybody else. But we didn't want that. Illuminati, thank you so much for being patient. Illuminati85, I missed his super chat and I scrolled up and found it. Thank you for the $2. He says, Game Pass has to have exclusive cornerstone games to get subs. And he's absolutely right. And I'm glad I found that because it ties right in with exactly what we were just saying. I'll do one more if I can find my spot. You guys are amazing. Thanks to the 2,000 who are here. Hit the like button. Show your support for us. And we really appreciate it. Meg, I wrote in the chat, I might stick around for a minute after I let you go when we get to the top of the show to make sure I get everything covered so you don't, lose your job tomorrow. But we'll see what we're going to do here. Where was I? Crippling Debt. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, are you implying that day one Game Pass will be a thing of the past? Game Pass release 3 or 6 months down the line or even conjunction with third party? That's what we're hearing. I sort of feel like that's something that Xbox is not even going to bother doing soon. I would actually put my energy on that's probably something Xbox is not going to do. I think it's more likely they'll put some games on Game Pass down or on a PlayStation down the road, not hold stuff from Game Pass because I think their Game Pass platform is getting close to reaching, well, it's kind of even, Mag, with the, wow, it might be more. We don't know what the numbers are, but I'll just say this. Game Pass and amount of Series S and X sold are pretty close to the same, Mag.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
Okay.
Give or take.
One more.
So, I mean, the adoption rate is pretty decent. Well, maybe. No,
and a lot
I
of them are on
wouldn't say
Xbox
neck and
One.
neck. I would say it's actually closer to probably 50 because if you're talking about, you said about 70% is on console, and then that would leave, what, 30% on the PC, right? And if you have about 30 million, you're talking about low 20s.
Okay.
Give or take, right? About 22 million, let's say, give or take, 22, 23 million. Then you're talking about half. You're talking about 50% are adopting Game Pass. The Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Across PC and Xbox One and Series X. Yeah, I like that. Percy Pringles wants to know, Mag, thank you for the $2. He says, what do you think of Phil's stance? What do you think his stance is on all this?
Well, we don't know it yet.
Well, I know, but what do you, put yourself in his shoes. Where do you think Phil is on that? Indulge the audience.
First of all, I did talk about this at the beginning of the show. I don't think he's on board with all this. I really don't, because I mean, at the end of the day, he used to be, he was a developer. He was in the trenches. He was what he was. And he moved his way on up, you know what I mean? Through the ranks, and he climbed every rung of every ladder, and now he is where he is. That doesn't mean that, generally speaking, you forget where you came from. And he doesn't seem the kind of person that would forget where he came from, because, at the end of the day, he's still out there gaming with the community, talking to people, whatever else, and doing this. Yeah, okay, I understand it's part of the job too. It's just like when, NFL players or NBA players, they go out and they do community service for people and whatever for their charities. That's part of their job. It's part of their contract. So they do have to do it. Some would do it out of love, but some, you got to do it because it's part of your job. So, there's a little bit of both there, but I could see that he's probably not entirely jazzed about the whole thing. But I think that if you want to play ball with the big dogs, then you got to kind of play ball with how they, you know what I mean? You got to go along with it. So I don't think he has that much of a choice, because at the end of the day, no matter how high you are in terms of leadership, there's always a bigger fish, and that bigger fish still calls the shot. You know what I mean? Like, even in my position too, people say, "Oh, you're the big boss," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I still got to answer the bigger bosses." You know what I mean? And it's always the way it's gonna be. There's always a bigger fish, right?
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn, 1999.
1999. I mean, I do feel like Phil is probably fighting for. I mean, his job was to save the Xbox platform in 2014. We're coming up on 10 years where Satya gave him the reins. And his job was to say, or he tried to prove, hey, I can turn this thing around and make this a viable thing. And right now, according to that fiscal report, Meg, Xbox is making good money. Xbox gaming is number 3 in the Microsoft business for revenue right now. And it's so funny that we're sitting here where hardware is not growing, but everything else is making good money, to see Xbox go, you know what, we're just going to throw all this goodwill and this energy on console away and start selling our games to PlayStation.
Yeah, but good money doesn't mean enough money.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
the thing is, like, you got to look at that other situation too, and this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, and I didn't buy it for 1 second. Is what was it, a week ago, 10 days ago, whatever it was, and people were running around going, "They've got record-breaking numbers, and this and that, everything went up 49%, and this other," and I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, because all they did was adopt ABK." They literally did not grow any of that. All they did was adopt the dog on the street, and they're like, now we have 3 dogs instead of 2. And I'm like, yeah, because you took the one that was standing outside. That you didn't give birth to the other dog. It wasn't part of it.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Say it.
Fonz wants to say something. I don't know if he'll come through. Go ahead, Fonz. Say it loud.
Go ahead, Fonz.
Well, so Xbox, right?
Can you hear him?
Man, what a doozy. Man, hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wanted to say what's up. Hello, chat. It's good to see you. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, hey, you know what? You guys are having a great show. I'll let you guys go now.
Hey,
Thanks,
Fonz.
Games after this.
Fonz, is Xbox dead?
Oh, deader than a doornail, man.
Dead.
No, I don't know. None of us know. The brand will still be around, but come on, like, this ain't good if they do go full third party. I mean, it's not in the best interest of gaming. It's just really not. We'll see what happens, but I maybe select titles. We'll see.
Percentage-wise, Fonz, how much of this? Because right now it's kind of like the zeitgeist is everything's going to PlayStation. How much percentage-wise do you think is actually going to be announced next week when it comes to all this bad news? What portion of it is actually going to be true?
I have a feeling the biggest push was from Bethesda. I think all of the Bethesda games will be going to PlayStation. That's just my thoughts on it. I think Bethesda games are going. Most of the Activision Blizzard games I think will be going, but outside of that, I don't know. I think they'll keep the Halos and the Gears. If they don't keep Halo and Gears on Xbox, that's just weird. That's even Forza. You got to keep that on Xbox only.
I know you and I talked about how it's like, if you're going to put a bunch of games on, why aren't you just doing them all? Like, what's the point of holding back stuff? And the chat saying hi, Fonz. And who was it? Says, Jungen says, hey, Fonz, love you.
Oh, man, they're great people.
Hey, tell everybody what you're... Tell everybody.
A special show tomorrow I'm going to do. I'm going to do GTL tomorrow night because I missed yesterday because I was sick and still a little sick, but getting better.
All right, you guys heard that. Fonz is going to do a... here, I'm going to hang up, Fonz. Love you, bro. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Fonz is going to...
Later, Fonz.
Fonz, he's tried to call me like 2 different shows in a row, and I tried to get him on the phone. Fonz is going to do kind of an RDX style show with Hargeet and himself and D-Batch. He wanted to get some of the crew together to talk gaming on Tuesday while they wait for Dealer to come back to the fold. If he's just chilling, playing games, and probably loving life. He's staying out of the direct fire of this, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Yeah, so where the hell were we right before they were talking about that? Now I'm all lost. Oh, right, we're talking about the ABK thing and the adoption. Yeah, so they're talking about the adoption of ABK, and they're like, oh, look at our numbers. And I'm like, what? You didn't grow any numbers at all. All you did was take one set of numbers, and you brought them over and you added them to yours to make it look good for investors. The biggest load of crap I've ever seen in my life. You know what they didn't incorporate? The overhead of ABK and how much it costs to have the thousands and thousands of employees, and the cost of running their business, their buildings, their bills, their electricity, their everything. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't add that in there. All they did was like, here's all the cool stuff we're doing now. Look at all the growth. And then investors are like sitting there like going and like
ABK was a cash purchase, but I'm sure investors and shareholders were promised a certain amount of return, and it's. They did have to wait almost 2 years during the court battle to start seeing stock go up in the way it's supposed to.
And who says they're getting returned? Because now, like I said, you didn't just adopt great numbers. You adopted a massive overhead cost of running business because now you've got that. And then how did they return that favor? Almost 2,000 people were dumped at the beginning of the year, right? Happy New Year. So, like, you know what I'm saying? You see, like, it's not, people say things like, oh, that's a $3 trillion company. That doesn't mean that they have $3 trillion lying around like Walter White does in some, like, storage unit. That's not how it works. Market value and what they actually have to operate with are completely different things. So they could be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Microsoft's not losing money at any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But they do want to make, just like anybody else, you want to make good money, or you want to see your numbers go up regardless of how comfortable you feel in your finances or in your business. And some of this we're suffering as diehard Xbox fans. Suffering so much, I spit all over my microphone. Let's talk about this Activision Blizzard thing, because you said earlier on the show that one of the big pushbacks was Bethesda Studios saying, I'm going to kind of elaborate in my opinion, instead of getting you under hot water for what you said you've heard people talk about, or you've heard, or whatever, with all the disclaimers. Bethesda Studios saying, hey, we're going to launch Starfield. All right. And Microsoft expects us to meet a certain sales metric, a metric that they're not allowed to use publicly or report, but a same metric that they are held accountable for if their games don't sell. And so what happens is Starfield is no longer releasing on the PlayStation. It's only going to release on the Xbox Series S and X and PC. So a chunk of the game sales are not going to be there. Plus the game launches on Game Pass, which is sold really well without Game Pass. But now that sales metric, I don't know if it was Starfield. Maybe it was a mix of Redfall, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Starfield, right? Where they didn't meet the sales metrics, and then Microsoft and Xbox are like, nope, you don't get it. You don't get the bonus. You don't get the extra deal because you didn't deliver.
This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the show, Colt.
Yes,
exactly this, because that's what I'm hearing from the horse's mouth. It said that they're getting muddled numbers. Yeah, I know. They're getting muddled numbers because it's an entirely different metric. From what they're used to, and because of that, it's causing confusion and causing problems and frustration. Yeah.
So the problem is now we think that Bethesda is pushing back hard. Like Pete Hines bounced and he's gone. They're pushing back hard saying, hey, we would have hit the sales metric because we had a projection that included PlayStation sales. So let us put this game on PlayStation. You have Tango Gameworks saying, let us put this game in the Japanese market. Like we have a hit game, highly rated, and it's not even really in the Japanese market where we're stationed out of, because you can't play this on the Switch. And there are there's like 7 people on the Xbox in Japan. And so I can see Tango Gameworks saying, let us put this in the Japanese market by being on Nintendo Switch and on the PlayStation. And Xbox is like, well, it's really going to bother some of these YouTubers and podcasters if we do that. And hey, I think that's where the pushback's coming. You set it up really well, Mag, where Microsoft investors, shareholders, leadership, like Tim Stewart, keeps telling the press, he's like, yeah, well, we're going to go fully multi-platform. And then Phil's like, okay, it's my turn to talk. We're not going third party. I mean, he's like literally said that. We're not going third party. So what else could be there but a huge like rubber band war and staple throwing war in the office against Microsoft and Bethesda versus Xbox and maybe ABK as well. Jeez, what a mess. Marshmallow says, I got timed out for telling the truth. Marshmallow, you weren't here. Just have a conversation. Like, just, use a little bit of tact and a little bit of nuance. And then we'd love to hear what you have to say. But when people come in and go, Napster good, Napster bad. That's an old joke. That's really old. E-bomb. Shout out to anybody who knows what E-bomb's world is. I think that's what's going on with ABK. Trell Robert says, I just don't want Xbox to go away like Sega. Trell, I think after this next console generation launches in 2026, we're going to see another diminish in Xbox console sales. I'm predicting it's going to be called the Xbox Series X2, and I don't know what they'll call the handheld if that thing is real. But we've seen the Xbox Series X slightly under the Xbox One, a console that the world said, please don't buy that. it's not a good look. Now, PS5 is slightly over the PS4 just recently because they had an amazing holiday, but it's not a growing market in console. So I think once Xbox releases that console, that will come out, I'll stand put my flag there, that Xbox will see, man, this is probably our last console generation. And I think even the world might be going there very soon after that. Meg, I'm trying to make sure that we've covered everything. Is there anything else that you got from your guy when you were talking this weekend?
That's everything. Like even General C asked in the chat, he goes, can you list off the games? All the games have been mentioned. So the only one, like I was saying, the only glaring difference was that I heard that the Gears collection was the only one that was on mine that wasn't on other people's. But other than that, it was pretty much the same thing. So we'll see what comes to fruition, what doesn't. I mean, we don't know. These are not facts. These are, but you know, you can't ignore that almost every big gun out there in the YouTube world and in the socials out there all receive the exact same information. So you know what I mean? It's pretty like it's not like it's like, well, one guy said this and one guy said that. Like, I mean, this is all, everybody got the same info from different people. That means, you know,
it means there's truth there.
There's truth to it. Yes, there's truth to it. Other than that, I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah,
but anyways,
thank you. Doom Year Zero, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield,
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2, probably Blade, like that's been kind of thrown around in the discussion amongst people who are talking to people they're not supposed to. Indiana Jones, like it was actually reported this week that Indiana Jones is already planned to come to PlayStation several months after releases, which I would guarantee Indiana Jones comes out in like November, and then sometime in the early spring or late spring, Indiana Jones comes to PlayStation, which is like, this is not what we wanted. Like, I didn't wait 10 years for Xbox to just start pushing their games out to other places. I'll say more people playing more games is a good thing. And people will say that. And I talked to Nate the Hate a lot behind the scenes over this past couple weeks. And he says, people don't understand the big picture. He said, you'll be able to get these games cheaper and better and first, kind of like that thing that I kind of make fun of. He's like, more people are going to be playing these games, and it's going to further fund more games to be made from these studios instead of them being like, well, you know, we tried this really big game, we didn't sell enough. Like, this will keep the health of the games industry going. But he also bookended that by saying, I get so made fun of for this. He's like, everyone's doing this. Everyone's going to be going multi-platform. No one wants to hear it because they're stuck with that whole same thing, Meg, where my shiny black box, my cartridge won't fit in your little gray flip top console.
Excuse me. Yeah. Carry on.
I get the weirdest ads on my phone now.
Yeah.
The whole thing I was trying to explain to my brother-in-law yesterday, because like he's not keyed into the gaming news. I'm like, you know how like I can take an Xbox disc and a PlayStation disc, they look identical, but you put them in, like he knows that. You put them in, it's like, read error, doesn't compute. I'm like, everything's digital now. But you can't download a PlayStation Assassin's Creed game and play it on your Xbox. Like, we're used to this separation of platforms, and I think the industry really needs to move to a more ubiquitous platform agnostic approach, because I think even PlayStation has seen AAA gaming be unsustainable. I mean, Meg, last thing I'll ask of you before I let you go, and I'm going to stay here and talk solo with you guys for a minute, get these super chats. Meg, do you think that Spider-Man 2 was financially successful or very successful?
It was. It made a profit, just not a lot of profit. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's not the AAA productions. We talked about this. It's not the AAA production itself that is actually unsustainable. It's the salaries that are unsustainable. The salaries keep ballooning. The number of people in the studios keep ballooning. Therefore, the costs are getting exponentially too high. And then when the developments the cycles are anywhere between 5 and 7 years, that is not sustainable. The games have to come out within 2 years. They need to cut down the dev time in half. And the only way to do that,
at least 3 or 4.
Out,
yeah.
The only way to do that is with the implementation of AI, which they'll be more than happy to do, because they're going to get rid of jobs, and AI is going to take over the majority of the mundane and more redundant
long-winded work.
Yeah, the grunt work of the development. And don't get twisted, people, because someone got pissed off with me last week. They're like, "Oh, you're advocating lower wages." No,
yeah,
I'm
say
not.
it again.
I'm just
say it again.
I literally did not say that. I'm literally saying from their point of view, it's too costly. And they're literally sitting there right now. Microsoft is one of them. Are saying, how the hell can we get rid of all these people and start replacing them with AI that's way cheaper so we can maximize our profit? Because the AAA wages of developers are not sustainable, and that's why they're going to do what they do. But that was a conversation for another show. We already did that, and I talked about that on Noob Show last week. Marshmallow, you're not wrong. He did say something. He says Xbox gamers aren't enough. It's that simple. He's actually not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Just because the ecosystem is not big enough to sustain what they're doing, and of course their return on investment. So
who else said?
Yeah.
Are not enough? Jim Ryan said it about PlayStation console users are not enough. Yeah,
right,
they're in the same problem. The issue.
You got a PC.
Yeah,
but PC. But here's the thing, though. Sony, regardless of what you think or anybody else thinks, they consistently release great games, and therefore they'll sell better on PC. And because of that, and that's what my rant that I had an hour ago, that the big thing that's going to save Microsoft is that they need to release great games at a consistent rate. Sony has been doing that for decades, for generations. And therefore, when they put their games day and date on PC, they will sell a metric ton of them because they're generally great games. Whether you like them or not personally, that's entirely up to you. But they are great games. And therefore, that's why they'll do well, and that's all they need. They don't need Xbox. They don't need Nintendo. They just need that extra push of 15 to 20 more million on PC, and they'll be great.
Was Spider-Man 2 financially successful? Like by now, it's
very
done.
little.
Very little.
Very little, but it did cross a profit margin, but not by much. Basically, at that point, you're just making your money back, and basically what's left over is just enough to pay some bonuses.
People don't understand. All you have to do is the math. Like, Mustard, I don't know why you didn't bother paying attention to that. You do the math where they said they spent $300 million to make that game. A big chunk of that goes to the franchise for Marvel, and like Meg has explained many times, you have to sell 1.5 times in profit the amount you spent on the game to sustain your studio to move forward for the next game. And I think at this point, Spider-Man's not that old, hasn't been around that long. At this point, it's barely made a successful mark for Insomniac. And I mean, their leaks showed they were very worried about moving forward. So this AAA thing is a problem. Meg, I'm going to let you say your outro and I'm going to stick around for a little bit. I just got a note from my producer. Okay. I don't know. Tell everybody where they can find you, and I'll get to some more questions and super chats.
Well, you know what? It's been a wild show. It's been a great show. I hope it's been informative for a lot of people out there. Had a lot of questions. We had a hell of a turnout. Still 2,000 people here in this chat. So, you know what? It's great. But yes, I do have to run. Colt will stick around to do the super chats and everything else, and then I'll get on out of here. You know where to find me on all the socials and everywhere else. You know, I'm the middle-aged game guy. I'm the mag. You know where to find me. I'm all over TikTok. I'm all over Instagram. I'm all over Twitter. I'm all over whatever. So you can find me in all those places, and I'll be screaming and doing whatever I'm doing. Maybe I'm cooking. Maybe I'll be cooking. Who knows what I'll be doing. But either way, it's been one hell of a show, a legendary show. And you know what would be really nice? If we can get all 2,000 people that watch this show tonight, and then all the people who listen after the fact, come back next week. I'd love to see 2,000 more people in the live chat. It'd be absolutely incredible. So either way, everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the support. We'll have everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you all next week.
Thank
Good night,
you so
Colt.
much.
We'll talk soon, buddy.
Okay. All right. See ya. Let's see. I think I have an overlay for when Mag leaves here. Let's see. Can I do this? Yeah. Okay. Let me read a couple supers. I'm going to bring in Fonz just briefly to hang out for a couple minutes while I go through these. I'll wait until he punches into the show. Highlander, let's see if I get this one. Highlander 001, thank you so much for the 5, and appreciate you guys sticking around here. We've got a lot of more discussion to have here tonight. He says, Microsoft needs a better PR department or hire a spokesperson who can do a better job of explaining what their plan is and what they will do. I completely agree. I know some of the people at the PR department. I love what they do, but unfortunately, Xbox puts themselves in the most ridiculous conundrums that I don't know how a PR person is supposed to even deal with their wishy-washy or their failure to commit and their failure to deliver on what they've promised their fans. So if you're working in a department like that, you have a whole crap load of a mess going for you. Let's see here. We've got Red Wolf with the $5 super chat. He says, breaking. And when someone says breaking, you better watch out. It might be fake news. He says, a regent is someone who temporarily takes the place of a leader due to incapacitation, sickness, or is riding out to war. The more you know. Okay, Red. That blue number, Holly, with the super chat with the 5. Thank you so much. She says, it's about time Red Wolf showed up. Hi, Meg. We're like an hour behind on some of these questions. Thank you, Holly. Check her out on Xbox Ultimate. They'll be changing their name soon. I'm just kidding. Itachi Uchiha, thank you for the €5. The £5. I'm sorry, I'm learning. He says, to me, there's no need to get upset until we hear from Microsoft. As long as the major games stay exclusive, I don't see an issue. But my gosh, he says, the PR. Let's put a quick poll in the chat here. Man, look at how big my face is on the screen. I'm scared. What was I going to ask? Hold on, I got to look at that super again. Oh, I'm going to ask you guys, do you believe all of these rumors? And when I say all of these, I'm going to say yes or no for the answer. Like, do you believe the majority of these rumors are true? And I know there's a lot of people in the audience or in the chat or viewers that are like, I don't believe a lot of this is happening. Maybe it's something really small. And I'll tell you, there's a good chunk of me, like half of me is like, a lot of this might just be 1 year, 2 year down the road plan B. But then another big chunk of me is like, I wouldn't put it past Xbox. So that's why I want to ask you guys, the chat. Let's see. I don't know if Fonz going to jump in. I also want to bring in Red Wolf if he's available to jump in. You are certainly welcome, Red Wolf, to jump in here and hang out with me for a minute. We got Boner Jams with a $5 super chat. He says, Megatron, you handsome rapscallion, you, and Colt 45 Wood. Great show. Have a good week, everyone. And he always spells Colt differently with a K this time. We appreciate you, Boner Jams. And I always like to push their show. They talk about music and guitars. Under the Bus Network is on Wednesdays on YouTube. Acute Perspective with a $5 super chat says, Phil Spencer has tried placing Game Pass on Sony and Nintendo in the past and they declined. That's very true. He says Xbox games on their console is the same thing as these Sony fandom boys. I just don't think it's going to work to put Game Pass on Switch and PlayStation, mostly because PlayStation doesn't want their consumers paying Xbox to play games on their console. And I think PlayStation kind of said it that way, and they fought against it in the courts. Jonas the Dad, thank you so much for the 2. He says, don't be a peasant. Pay for Ultimate. Laugh out loud, Mags. I mean, if you're going to have Game Pass, you need Ultimate. They make you pay online, which they need to get. After all of this stuff, Xbox really needs to get rid of the paywall. They've done so much. Remember how I said, I don't know how much of this is true? At this point, they've already sullied their reputation so much with the things that they have allowed to happen and the perception they've given. They need to put some goodwill together and just say, you know what? We're going to eat the Xbox Network or Xbox Live fee. We're just going to say, you know what? Xbox, it's free to play online because our PC gamers don't have to pay. It's ridiculous. And I push for that. I'm going to say, get on Discord. Get on. Oh, yeah. When I'm in a hurry, I can't type. Okay, there we go. Freaking get rid of the paywall. Let me look at the chat, guys. I want to see this as well. What? Ripper says, I saw Nuno Betancourt on set. What do you mean you saw him in concert or you saw him walking into the AM/PM? Oh my gosh. I love Nuno Betancourt. He's the guitarist for Extreme. Oh my gosh. 3 Sides to Every Story is probably one of the best albums I've ever heard. And it's not even their most popular. Who was that? Who was it who said that? Ripper? Bro, I'm waiting for you to write something else. If I walked by Nuno Betancourt, I'd be like, dude, that guy's so cool and he never ages. Where was I? Thank you. I want to make sure I thank again Pushing Polygons, Detective Seeds for all the channel memberships. Eric Goff also channel membership gift as well. The Matrix guy's name stood for Negative Matrix, and he says, laugh out loud. Oh my gosh, I got to go back and clip that and share it with my buddies. Eternal Shaddai with the $2 super chat says, hey guys, what happened to Be Nice? I don't know. I'm thinking about ditching it. Nah, I don't know. I've made so many good friends here on the podcast and on the channel. I get people DMing me like, hey, Colt, how are you doing? Like, appreciate everything you do. Hey, how are you holding up during this absolute nuclear bomb? And you guys are amazing. We really appreciate your support. Nerds and Other Legends with a $10 super chat emblazoned in goldenrod, the color they call it, which is yellow. He says, if they can't succeed on the largest platform being PC, how could they fare any better on the PlayStation platform? Are they chasing a phantom sales number? Holy crap, that's I don't know if I agree with that, but could that be that you're on Steam already and you're on Windows PC, you have 250 plus million customers. Are you really going to sell much more on PlayStation, or to PlayStation gamers, are they kind of in the same buying mode as an Xbox console gamer? What do you guys think about that? That's actually a pretty good point. I kind of feel like they've already figured that they've kind of hit the ceiling with conventional mainstream console games on PC. I'm not sure. Hargeet Chani, my good friend, with a $10 super chat. PCMR for the win. Permanent backward compatibility? No. No online paywall? Yes. Multiple sub-services, multiple stores to buy games? That's not a good thing. Well, I mean, you do have options to get games cheaper. I like my stuff all in one place where I can just launch it in one spot. He says, way more performance, way more money, Hargeet. Play Xbox games, play PlayStation games, however, terrible interface. Yeah, I mean, I've been on PC for a long time. Sometimes, I don't know, I'm preaching to the choir that the console experience is just so nice if you're okay with some 30 frames games. But Hargeet's playing on like a $5,000 PC. Shut up, Hargeet. I love you. God Emperor Sofa King, thank you so much for the 2. He says, whoever is giving out this information works at Xbox. Yeah, I think it is. I really think somebody was like, we can't get anywhere with these hard-headed people. Let's leak it to the press and these people and then let them deal with the fire. And I said in my video today, I hope they're having the time of their life. I hope they are miserable, the people that are pushing this, because of this problem they've caused. I know there's some goodwill in there, like you can expand the platform and bigger, and when everybody plays, we all win, but to what end? Like, what damage are you going to do? And I feel like they're saying, you know what? Who cares about 10 million out of 100 million? Who cares? That's not the right answer. Highlander 001. And, I think Phil probably feels like that's not the right answer, too. I hope he's fighting for it. Highlander, thank you so much for the $2. He says, Mag, I'm Irish pirate. All right. Mag's Italian and I'm Norwegian. We make one heck of a team. 1/8. King Blade says, do you guys let viewers call in? I don't have a way to do that, but I'm going to give that some consideration. I've watched shows where they let people call in that get super crazy. Tim's Spaces was like grown men yelling at each other, and it was, I ate a lot of popcorn. Kung Fu Hot Dog, who's been a member for 60 months, says, hi, Jen. Still shocked by the Xbox news. Gear 6 is taking long because they're making a version for the PS5 and 6. Guess there's no more physical games. Now's not the time for my speech, but Pushing Polygons is probably here. Let me see who we're getting in here. We got Hargeet, and I think we might Red Wolf. Get that camera on, then let me see. I think I do have a podcast 3. Boom. There we go. I'll just change the names on the fly. This one should say, well, I think it'll change when he get your camera on there, Red. Hargeet. We'll just put Hargeet, and I think this one, I'm going to change it on the fly. I put the hot seat. Hargeet, you there, buddy?
I am.
All right.
Bing, bang, boom.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay, it works. So I do have to put Hargeet here. Hargeet. Oh, it's with 2 E's. I'm just doing it in real time. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys are still here. I love you guys. You make X and C possible when it was impossible. I really do appreciate you. Let me get Red Wolf's name changed here. Where's the thing? Come on. There it is. Oh my gosh. When I'm in a hurry.
There we go.
Red Wolf. Red, you don't talk a lot. Let me start with you first. How are you feeling about all this? And then I know Hargeet's got a lot to say. How are you feeling about everything so far?
Well, I just...
He's speechless.
I just No, there you go. There you go. Thanks for having me, Colt. It's been great. You can find me. No. Really, I feel maybe I'm one of the people in the majority here. I'm really just waiting at this point to hear from the horses. No, can't use that word. From the not horse's mouth. For the official news and statements of what's to come for the future of Xbox. I've talked to a lot of people who are very casual and don't follow the news, and they're like, "This is great for gamers. No more exclusivity." And I'm like, "That's not. It's not necessarily the case, unless you're on PC. PC gamers have been free of exclusivity and console warring for forever." Which is why you see a lot of people going to console or to PC now. So I don't really know how to feel. I guess for me personally, I would say that as of now, I agreed with somebody in your video today, who said, "I'm just gonna ride the Xbox till the wheels fall off, baby."
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. And I've talked to my friends personally in our smaller groups and said the same thing, essentially. Like, I don't feel like we're going to see this huge doomsday effect until 8 to 10 years from now.
Really?
When Xbox is done, no more consoles and stuff like that. Like, I feel like, but we don't know anything. Like, I don't know. We don't know anything. Just to say, like, this is just a rumor. Ooh, what's that?
Fold the line.
Okay.
Snort the line.
I think I have that one. Let's see.
Anyway.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I like it. No, that was it. I lost my train of thought. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh my God, King David, it's so good to see you. Oh, there he is again. He keeps changing outfits. He's just such a man. He's so handsome.
And then it was supposed to be advance the line.
Yeah.
Right to PlayStation. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hargeet, how true is all this? You and I have talked about the financials and why they would do this, but where are you sitting on this sucker?
Look, the financials are ridiculous. I don't see any reason to do that financially. However, I could say, look, perhaps the pay scales issue was an issue, and they just inherited 17,000 employees when they were originally intending to inherit 10, and they promptly let go of 1,900. I think about 16 or something like that was from there. I don't know how much was specifically ABK, but assume a majority of that is ABK, right? That still leaves 15,000 people that they have to take on. And if the pay scale issues, because there was an actual lawsuit from the state of California, and they didn't do that willy-nilly. They had evidence, right? So maybe some of that got resolved, and maybe a lot of it did not get resolved. And they're like, oh boy, are we in trouble. Suddenly payroll has increased a lot, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm speculating. This is all speculation. I don't know the insides, right? I'm just taking a guess that maybe they have to fix some things, right? And say, okay, well, no, we have to pay this. And, oh, by the way, we don't do crunch. So, you know how Kotick would ride you to work 60 hours? We don't do that. So we got to get 40 hours to work for what we were getting 60 hours before. We might.
That just means games take longer, right? But
yeah, exactly.
When games take longer, they cost more because you're paying FTE, you're paying full-time employees longer.
And so they got to crunch those numbers and figure out what's going on. On top of that, they're going to take a hit when they put it in Game Pass. There's just no way around that, right? It's 70 versus nothing. Okay, well, because your Game Pass subscribers are already there. They were funding the original, employees. They weren't funding ABK.
And it's not like Atomic Heart where they get a check to be in Game Pass. If you're owned by Xbox, it's like, oh, by the way, your game goes into Game Pass and good luck to you.
So yeah, right. And like, okay, so how do you take all those hits? Fair enough. These are all fair things to look at. Flip side, half the money that ABK was making was in mobile. That's not going to Game Pass. So that gives you quite a bit of revenue, quite a bit of the profit, right? A lot of the profit came from that. They were profitable before. Now this quarter they had to take a hit because they had to spend $1 billion of integration cost. They took that hit on their profit. Okay, fine, fair enough, whatever. That won't happen every quarter, right? So next quarter they should be bouncing back and they'll be fine, right? So ultimately they'll end up with a few billion in profit, and the money makers are like, that ain't enough. And like, why isn't that enough? Like that's good, isn't it? Nope. Okay. So this is kind of where they are, right? This whole thing about the money thing to me is ridiculous. Why? Because they just made 22 billion in profit in the last 3 months. This is Microsoft. 22 billion in profit.
And gaming is number 3 inside that.
And
that
I don't
sphere.
care, right? As long as they're not making like. So look, the way you have to look at any of these industries is like for Microsoft, this is their entry into consumers. Most of what they make is not consumer; it's enterprise. And enterprise is fine when you're compelled to use Office, when you're compelled to use Windows because you have to, because your enterprise uses them. Fine, you make your money there. This is their entry into somebody who wants to buy this, who wants to play your games, who wants to engage with you. You want to keep the enthusiasm, right? Because it brings your name into that market, right? It brings your name into households. It is a reason to want that. On top of having games like Minecraft, which, yes, is multi-platform, it's also a unique platform game, right? Mm-hmm. Where it says Microsoft, right? It's kids seeing, oh, that's what Microsoft's about. Okay, maybe that puts something in their head next time they see Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. What was? Oh, I remember Minecraft, right? So things like that just matter, but they're little stepping stones to give you a market share that you think about 10 years from then or 20 years from then, right? They need to have that consumer, thing. They used to be consumer focused.
I think they're blasting, they're sandblasting some of that away.
And that's just a bad idea. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm with you, Hargeet, and you and I talk about this stuff like over party chat at length while we're playing games. We can multitask. Machine XP gives a super chat and says, "Here's what I think is very realistic: in-house Xbox studios are all exclusive unless it's a live service game." That's kind of a double,
which is Forza, Gears,
Halo. I think that definition is so fluid, but I like where he's going. He says
technically State of Decay. I could go on, right?
Yeah, it's not good. That's the cool thing about Xbox. Xbox doesn't just do one thing. They give you a great single player experience and then let you play that with your friends. He says all in-house studios would be exclusive unless it's live, or has already been out for several years, meaning he thinks they'll take older games and port them. He says ABK all multi-plat, Bethesda timed exclusive. Now, that's kind of an interesting tier where he's like basically saying the flagship games will stay exclusive, live service games will go everywhere. ABK's fully multi-plat, and Bethesda's like, game? Okay, fine, you get it. We get it for a year. I think that's a good point.
But what's a flagship game?
Well, I mean, you know what I mean, like Fable, Forza, Halo, Gears. But we're already hearing that's not even true. Red, what? You're a massive Bethesda fan. What? I got to hear what your take is about Starfield being way better on PlayStation 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't even come to Xbox. And go.
Well, it's been confirmed. I've already seen a video behind the scenes. Phil sent me a video along with him shirtless, crying, with Starfield playing in the background at 60 frames per second native on an 8K TV that you can get bundled with the new PlayStation 5 X Series P. So look forward to that. No, I don't know. What was the question?
Holy crap, you're almost as ADD as I am. What do you think about Starfield going to PlayStation and then Elder Scrolls probably launching on PlayStation day and date?
I think that was the big reaction. That was sort of like the core of the major react. Even the people that didn't really care for Starfield, like people, what I mean by that is people who played Starfield for 30, 40 hours and said, I had my time with it. It's not for me, but I tried it. Even they are saying that's not okay because this was the flagship title for Xbox, the biggest title people were talking about. We haven't had a game on Xbox talked about like Starfield has been for so long, and then it comes, and I feel like at the very least that's something to point out, even if you didn't like it, even if you never played it and never will play it, that really is the big point to make here. And I feel like that's sort of at the core what is most important. It was in like, you know, the mind share was crazy. Even if you hated it, still to this day, and I can tell you, I can make a Starfield video right now, and people are like, "F you, man, you know, F yourself," and all the other things, and they're watching my Starfield video about me being like, "Hey, hi everyone, I like this," and they're like,
"How dare you?" Like,
yeah, and so, but anyway, I think that at the end of the day, that was the beginning of people saying, you guys said to me this was not going to other consoles, so I felt like our worth, like me buying an Xbox or owning a PlayStation and having a PC Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass meant something more because it's this huge, massive exclusive and from a beloved company that has such a pedigree for, I mean, the fan base is just, I mean, the modding community alone can just speak for itself when it comes to the continuity of the games today. Even the
Starfield
ones
Booty.
like they're Starfield Booty, exactly, my favorite mod. I've never modded anything in my life, but so yeah, I think that
you overhauled Skyrim to become a Pokemon game. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I did. And I'm definitely not partnered with Pocket Bear. Don't at me right now. Oh God, I should put on my sunglasses so they don't notice me. This is Blue Wolf.
I'm gonna put on my glasses as well.
I should go.
Nice.
That's a compelling story. Any chance it's reaching an end?
Any chance?
Or whatever. I always mess it up. We got LA Chargers. I got to get these super chats while we chit chat. LA Charger fans, thank you for the 5. He says, I love losing franchises. Xbox and LA Chargers. Shout out to my girlfriend who's watching, Rosa Milano. Thank you, he says.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yodani says, Fonz and Hargeet tomorrow. Yeah, GameStalk Live on a Tuesday. It'll be a Redux and RDX kind of a coming together. The fans that hang out for Tuesday nights, they're amazing. Pushing Polygon says in the chat a while ago, he says, when they were talking about the brand as a whole would go up by 50 points by the end of the fiscal year, does that take this plan into account? Hargeet, that's a question for you.
Oh my goodness. Right. And which part was 50%? I remember they were saying, because it was actually 50 percentage points. That's what they were talking about. And I don't remember which part. Was it services? I think there was like something about hardware would go like down. I believe that's what they said. And then they said like the services would go up by 50%, something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. How the heck does it go up if you're going to? Well, okay, I take that back. The issue there is I think if the assumption is World of Warcraft goes up because of the new story expansion, right? Perhaps that's what they're looking at as revenue. Maybe there's expansions for Diablo and then Warzone, right? Call of Duty Warzone. That could expand, right? And that would increase your... So a lot of the ABK stuff integrating in as far as financials, that could bring in some big revenue. This time they took a hit, right? So they get the revenue kind of. I also don't know at what point during that 3-month span they actually get to take the revenue, because usually you do things on fiscal month ends. They did mid-October or something like that. They did the acquisition. So maybe November, December counts. I don't know if it's October, November, December. So it could just be only 2 months. I don't know, right? So we'll have to wait until a full quarter where they own them, what the revenue looks like. And that might be what they're talking about. I think it was a 6-month horizon that they were thinking it was going to be a 50% increase. And that would include some other, major stuff coming in with ABK. I'm sure there's other stuff coming in with Elder Scrolls and whatnot as well. So hopefully that's what I assume that's what they're talking about. Okay. That mobile revenue will start coming in, and those services will go up.
I feel like when Hargeet was telling us about those financials, there should have been a table with bagels and coffee.
Gluten-free
financials are financials. Thanks. Right? They can be pretty dry. They can be
no, I'm just kidding.
They can be, whatever.
Fonz goes, what happened to Meg? You know what? I might have to. I need to bring Fonz in here. I don't have a 4-person overlay. I was working on one before the show went up, but there was like so many things, so many parts of this overlay I couldn't just set up. So I might bring you in and boot one of these guys out, whichever one is the most handsome. Whew, that's gonna be a tough one. Fonz says Mag went third party. I also added. Yeah, it already updated. I added your channel in the description, Red Wolf, so people can follow you. How about
thank
this?
you so much.
I'll take a couple questions from Red Wolf, and then I'll have Fonz take your spot, or Hargeet. We'll see here in a minute. Let's see. BT Maverick with the $10 super said, I don't know how to do this, like bring people in musical chair style, and look at me. I don't even have glasses. BT Maverick, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for your support. You know what? Hold on a second. Red, you love it when I get emotional, right?
Oh, please cry for me.
Oh boy.
You're sending me a good jar of tears still, right?
I've had, oh boo-hoo, Mr. Content Creator. I've had kind of a rough couple of weeks with not the Xbox news, but I've been trying to like create content and create videos, and some of the stuff hasn't, people are like, I don't really care about Contraband. I'm not going to watch that. I covered the Developer Direct, like, I already saw that. I don't need to watch Colt's video, which I totally understand. And then I covered the games from PlayStation versus Xbox, and everybody's like, I don't care. And I'm like, oh, nobody likes me. And of course, I'm just mostly exaggerating, but you feel a certain way. And all of you guys who showed up today who want to talk about this news, like, you are my type of people. I love you so much for being here. I really appreciate all your support. Those of you here still watching the show long after we should have ended. It means a lot to me. Thank you, because you guys, content creators, like, we pour our guts into this. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, BT Maverick. He says, geez, I left him hanging. He said, just wanted to say Game Pass is not 100% guaranteed to survive this transition period and may not be considered financially viable to these corporate bean counters. Everything is now on the table. The old wise old gamer, thank you, BT, with the 5 says, in other words, big corpse F the little man. Well, after a 20-year marriage like mine.
Wait, that was good.
He basically says, at least I'm getting some. I guess.
Okay, sorry. I was still stuck on bean counter, and then we went to marriage, and I was like,
Red, I want. Oh, geez, this thing's.
Is that a Microsoft product? It's just like trying to shave your face. Get him, activate anything we own right now. Activate it, get him.
It's like that one movie. It's like, Mom, I found the flashlight.
There's no light on it. This hand sanitizer feels weird, Dad.
Oh, I'm having a baby.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Drew 77 goes, Colt, where are the timestamps?
Come on.
It's like, I run the show for 2 hours. I like turn off the studio lights and I'm like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And I look at my phone, it's like, where are the damn timestamps? Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Ripper goes, Colt's pleasure device. Oh, you guys are amazing. Okay.
Oh, I love it.
I was going to go and back to you like it was a microphone, and I turned it on and it scared me. Oh, gosh.
Like,
back to you, Red.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Okay, let me go to one, and I'll have Red Wolf field one of these. Carlos Fontes, thank you so much for the 5. You know, Hargeet, I love you so much. I might bring Fonz in your place since you guys do a show together, and you're going to be on tomorrow. Oh, gosh, Hargeet. Guys, everybody, Hargeet is such an amazing person. I love his insight. I love his laughter. I love talking games with him and party chat. Go follow him nowhere because he's not on social media.
He can't. He's a ghost.
I did want to bring up something about the potential for the Game Pass changes, but I don't know. Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we will. Well, go ahead real quick, and then I'll go to one to, and then we'll outro you.
Like, we had heard rumors about rumors. I think they were kind of field testing some ideas about doing the subscription with ads, right? It was intended for lower markets, as far as people who can't afford to even go that high to the Game Pass sub. But maybe they could do something cheaper, but with ads, right? Or maybe even free with ads. And okay, if that's still moving forward, that's kind of cool. That's fine, right? I don't see an issue with that. The moving things to the ultimate tier. At this point, then can we just get rid of the other tiers? Like, what would be the point of those tiers, right? You're saying, okay, maybe the game's.
What do you mean, get rid of core or something, or?
So get rid of core, get rid of. Well, so here's the thing. Essentially what you were saying, just get rid of the idea of a paywall for multiplayer, right?
Absolutely.
So get rid of core.
Yeah.
Which is all that really is, and then get rid of just PC Game Pass and console Game Pass, and just have the ad tier. So if you can't afford it, that's what you get, and you get a select amount of the games. And I think they were also not timed, day and date. They were timed to be 6 months out, something like that, right? And it was going to be the first party games only. As I recall, I think this is kind of what they were playing out with the ad version. And then the ultimate should be everything. You get everything everywhere, right? And it's day and date. You just get everything everywhere. And if they need to, fine, bump it up to $20, whatever. Instead of having 5 tiers, just make it ad tier, and then ultimate, right? Or basically Game Pass, which would just be the
Game
tier
Pass,
now.
which gets you PC, console, and then you
gives
don't
you everything.
Then you don't have to have. I think Xbox wants that core one in there so they can boost numbers and get that easy free money, which I think is totally disgusting and filthy. I hate it.
It is, but I mean, they're going to have that ad-supported tier, right? The assumption is that ad-supported tier would eventually replace that. They don't need that then, right? So if the ad revenue is replacing that, right? They have to kind of fix the messaging, and this is kind of the problem. If you just keep adding stuff, it just becomes more and more annoying. Hey, what did I get with Xbox console Game Pass, and what did I not get? And right, just eliminate all the confusion. Ad-supported tier, full Game Pass. Eventually, hopefully, they even get to family Game Pass if they can do that, right? So, okay, you have 3 tiers then. It makes it much simpler because people understand family, right? That's simple. I get the additional charge, but I get my entire family, right? But if you start making like tiers, it just becomes more and more annoying. So,
and it just looks horrible. Like, we hate seeing those. Like, when you would pre-order a game, there's all those tiers. Like, oh, gross.
Like, oh, come on, right? Ad supported, only first party. A few months later, 6 months later. And then the full Game Pass.
At this point, they really need to get rid of the multiplayer paywall because they need to like bend over backwards to fix the anger they've caused like their core fan base. What?
Because then guess what? The PR nightmare. There is also an advantage as far as, hey, your console also doesn't have a paywall anymore. Right. So
absolutely, I've said that forever. Like, just get rid of it, and you'll draw people in. They'll come to Game Pass. They'll get a Series S.
Exactly.
Carlos Fontes, thank you so much for the 5. I don't know if Fonz is jumping in. I texted him. Maybe he's eating a chalupa or something. He says, do you think there's a chance in heck that Xbox pulls an Obi-Wan in A New Hope and becomes more powerful than he could ever imagine? Sort of, yes.
In what way?
I think for monthly active users and games revenue and becoming like, if they went more fully multi-platform, they would become like one of the biggest and greatest publishers. But there's part of that hardcore audience I think you still need to serve. Red, what do you think about that? Does it matter if Xbox is like the bigger than in Tencent?
Yeah, I mean, look what just happened with Embracer. I mean, we're seeing, I mean, I don't know. I feel like one of the different things about Xbox in comparison to other,
Junior. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? I should go. No, Xbox has always been like, for example, like Phil Spencer has been like very communicative with the community, you know, and maybe that's as of lately, but it's not like Jim Ryan was out there like kissing babies and stuff whenever he was with PlayStation, you know what I mean? But there was like a lot of like community focused things happening with Xbox in comparison to other platforms. And you know, like Gabe wasn't out there doing the same thing either. But as far as Xbox getting bigger, like I feel like this is what the naysayers of the ABK deal were afraid of to begin with. Like, they're becoming a monopoly. They're becoming way too big to be sustainable, and they're going to take over, and they're going to start doing more anti-consumer things because they're more comfortable because of their.
What are you laughing at?
Probably
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
Sorry, I have like the live feed over here. Hold on. That's my meme I made.
I love that. He couldn't kiss babies. Whenever he kisses babies, he has to go like this. He has to go, and then he's got to come in for the kiss.
Okay. Hold that thought, Hargeet. I'm going to bring Red Wolf, or I'm going to. ADD. I'm going to bring in Fonz. Hargeet, can you tell people what podcasts they can check you on if they want to hear more of your?
Oh my goodness! Here's the list. All right, so Primetime Gaming on Boomstick Excel's channel, which is Double Barrel Gaming, and that's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. On Game On Daily every now and then, but I'm part of Game On Daily, so GameOnDaily.com and YouTube.com/GameOnDaily. Check that out. Septic Sauce if you want to check out all the sauce videos. And Asa has a new podcast at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Thursdays. Gaming Arcadia is the channel there. And then Fonz, who's just joining, we're on Sundays at 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Fonz's channel, Fonz Gaming, for Games Talk Live.
Awesome.
Maybe at some point we'll have RDX. I don't know when that will be, but if Gila ever comes back.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Hargeet. Thanks so much for stepping into X&C once again. We appreciate you. All right, see you soon, buddy.
Bye.
All right, let me bring in, let me write it, put on the type it in the number in the thing with the do. Fonz, turn on your camera and we'll be ready to rock. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, Fonz is coming to you directly from Enshrouded. His custom character looks just like him.
I was literally gonna make that joke when you said, I wonder where Fonz is. I was like, he's in the middle of a lawsuit with the Enshrouded devs for his character being put in the game without his permission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fonz, I know you're itching to talk about, we've covered a lot, probably covered just about everything.
This on?
Yes,
Hello?
you're here. Let me read a super and I'll go to you, Fonz. Kung Fu Hot Dog says, thank you for the $2, a soup £2. He says, Phil will say he's stepping down in 2025. Prediction. Fonz, I'm going to start you on a hot question. Is somebody going to burn for this PR nightmare? What do you think's going on with Phil or Sarah in lieu of this massive PR nightmare for Xbox?
I could only imagine that they're running around like I think right now they're really trying to get everything in line for next week for whatever the heck Phil is going to come out and say. It's going to be a lot of fluff. We've talked about this. It's going to be a lot of don't worry type of thing. And I don't think there's anything they can do to really make this go away, because they're not going to get into any real specifics on this game's going, that game's going, this isn't, that's not. So people are always going to have speculation out there. That's the problem with this situation, right? Is we're not going to get all the answers that we want right now or next week, have you? They're just going to come out and give you some PR speak, some corporate jargon that's going to make you, that's going to try to just calm the people down. And it's not going to work for the majority of Xbox folks. So that's why I'm just like, what are we doing here? But there's one thing I have to say, though.
Yeah?
It's time for Starfield to hit PlayStation. Starfield, the greatest game ever made, will be on PlayStation.
Give us the overzealous commercial for the PlayStation 5 version of Starfield. Go.
It will run better than it does on the Xbox Series X, because the PlayStation is better. No, I'm just kidding. That's not happening.
I was just about to order my PlayStation 5 finally.
Yeah, no. It's just, you know what? It's one of those things where it doesn't really bother me emotionally. Like, oh my God, these games are going to go over to PlayStation. Somebody else is going to be able to play it or whatnot. But really thinking about this situation and the implications, the impact that it has overall on gaming, it can become a real problem later on for Xbox.
Like,
for instance, because at first I'm all about like Game Pass right now. It's like I really think Game Pass is an incredible value. I love its current incarnation of it, and I've heard some doom and gloom about it that you've talked about earlier on this podcast with the whole ads thing, the possibility of staggering launches on the service, and that is just horrible. Xbox, if you're listening, do not stagger the first party launches. Say a month late or 3 months late for a game because you want to sell it first. That'll just kill Game Pass. I'm out if that happens.
It'll kill the Xbox sales of those games, and it'll kill Game Pass. And I'm with you. I don't think they're going to give us clarity on how soon are these coming to PlayStation. Which ones will come to PlayStation?
And that is the biggest problem. And I point at them for starting all this with their mixed messaging. They've constantly said one thing and then done another. And it just happens so many times to the point where it's like, the boy who cried wolf situation. How many times are you going to keep listening and saying, okay, yeah, we believe you this time, Phil? And I don't
Let me reiterate that question.
He's a great guy, but
Let me reiterate that question. Do you think Phil is going to step down or somebody is going to burn for this?
I don't think. No. I don't think you're going to see Phil or Sarah step down at all for this. I don't think this is going to happen. I do believe Mag to a certain degree on how, what he's hearing is probably the truth. There is probably some internal fighting amongst them about, some developers wanting to stay exclusive while others want to push it out to the masses. I really feel like Bethesda kind of showed that a bit when it came to Starfield and stuff. And I think they are the main proponents of just trying to get their games everywhere. I think Bethesda is a big spearhead to this. And of course, Microsoft is a big corporation. You want to make the most money you can. I get that. But what I was getting at earlier with the bigger impact that it'll have on gaming itself is that if they do decide to go this route and put the majority of their games, not even all, the majority of their games on PlayStation, eventually it's going to get people to the point where they're going to build a PC or stick to PlayStation and buy the games there. You're going to get less and less, no matter how you spin it. Even the die-hard Xbox console guys eventually will be the last of a dying breed. There'll be very little of them left in a few years, 10 years from now. It could be 15 years from now, but I see Xbox consoles going away at a certain point. Mm-hmm. They may have next generation, but after that, it's not so clear cut because I don't think they're going to sell very well next generation.
No, they're not. And
it's going to keep going down.
I would bet you half of the people that are playing on consoles are like, you know what, I'm going to play most of my stuff on PC, whether that's PlayStation console people or Xbox. And I think the Xbox, the people who are like RIP Xbox may in the future just become a big publisher or just that Xbox logo.
Cole, we know the tech is moving. We know the tech is moving. They got cloud. They got things. And I've seen firsthand how well cloud can work with GeForce Now.
It's
of course you need a bigger infrastructure and all that. But I'm just saying, in the end, you're going to see less consoles, which means bye-bye to my Game Pass. Because the majority of Game Pass owners or subscribers are on the consoles. So you cannot have the console die out and keep Game Pass. I don't think you're going to see as many people transition over to the PlayStation. PlayStation's not getting Game Pass. They've already said no to it in the past. They're not going to allow that gaming service on their platform. So to those that move over to PlayStation, God bless you, but you're not going to get Game Pass there.
Yeah.
Then PC guys go, but even PC, you got PC Game Pass guys, but they make 10% maybe of 15% of the whole entire Game Pass subscription base. I don't know. Last I heard, they were like at around 5 mil.
It's like 70% of the people on Game Pass are on Xbox consoles.
So I'm
trying to remember what I was going to ask. I've got a question here for Red Wolf from his buddy Assassin. He says, thank you for the $5 Super Assassin. He goes, wait, so Xbox needs to lose exclusives to build audiences for their games because they suck at marketing games like Hi-Fi Rush as an Xbox exclusive? Red, what do you think about that comment? That they need to lose exclusives to build their audience.
No, sorry. I don't quite understand. They need to lose exclusives, meaning he's saying that they are favoring the more gamers in more places over exclusives for the console.
It goes back to what Fonz and I were saying, that if you're trying to build up Game Pass and sell consoles, you have to have a reason for people to say, oh, I really want to play Hi-Fi Rush, but I can only play it on Game Pass, PC, or Xbox console.
I mean, I got to be real. When it comes to the whole Game Pass thing, I find the value there. However, if you're going to get more people involved in Game Pass, you have to have more compelling games. And I don't feel that Xbox has really given it all that it's got when it comes to putting compelling games within Game Pass. I think there's more games coming. We see them on the horizon. Fable is very compelling to put into Game Pass.
You can't have a compelling game every other year. And
no, but
that's what Mag said earlier in the show.
They haven't really pushed enough with this Game Pass. Matter of fact, they haven't really even marketed enough for Game Pass. And again, what you said earlier was spot on, Colt, when you said that we don't know if these leaks are something that they are just kicking around the idea of doing maybe in 10 years or in 1 year or less than that. We have no idea. But the thing is, we do know that if these ideas come to fruition, they're bad regardless when they come. So we as the consumers should be out here spearheading it and saying, no, we don't want this to happen. I know they're not going to just sit there and listen to us all the time, but sometimes they do.
Okay.
If it is really all doom and gloom from Xbox guys, the diehard guys like Tim Dog, for that guy to say I'm out is crazy. Crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what. We talked about flip-flopping, Red. We talked about people who flip-flop, say I'm switching, I'm kicking my Xbox down the driveway. When you look at people that are so ride or die, they're so diehard Xbox that they're like, they're not doing what I want. I'm out. I'm going to burn the bridge. I'm going to set everything on fire. That's a real problem. But those people can be so extreme. I love Tim Dog. He's a really close friend of mine. I saw this coming for Tim. And a good friend of mine like Kid Smooth, he changed his banner to F Xbox. These guys are so absolute in their conviction for the brand that's a prediction I saw coming a mile away. What I want to add. Yeah. Go ahead. And I want to ask you something.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that's one thing that I tried not to be, because at the first, I was one of those people that was I reacted very emotionally, but just sort of just held it in and said, let me just, keep it inside of me for now. A lot of people are externalizing their concerns, and I'm with you when someone who has been an Xbox fan for years and years and years, especially if they are someone who has been, like you guys know me, like I love my physical games, but 95% of my games are still on my Xbox. Like they're still digital, because the physical market is, that's a whole other thing. But for me, imagine me as someone who has an account, 15-year account, for me to say I'm selling my Xbox, that's me saying you know what? I'm throwing away $7,000 or more
to stick it to the man.
Probably more, and just saying, and they're gonna learn from that. And Xbox is going, we don't give a chunk.
It's not even just that. It's the diehard Xbox guys who were all about their controllers, crapping on PlayStation controllers, and saying they're going to go to PlayStation now. I'm like, wait, you don't like their controllers, you don't like their PSN, you don't like anything about their PlayStation games, but you're going to move to PlayStation. How crazy is that? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. But I do understand the implications overall. But I think that takes time for this console to go away and the doom and gloom and all this. But I don't know what kind of plan they have in place to actually make this happen without losing the console altogether at some point, because I don't see a scenario where they can work this out to where the console will stay forever. Going full third party doesn't allow you to do that unless you give something that's really compelling to keep people on the console. And so far, from what I've seen with Xbox, the entire last generation and the beginning of this generation, is they've treated the console owners like second-class citizens.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask Red Wolf about, because Stephen Ford told Phil, it's like, great games will sell consoles. And Phil said, like, we can't outsell the PlayStation, Red, right? Like, well, that's the truth. But what games are on the horizon that are like, this is the game? These are the games coming for Xbox. Like, what in your opinion is yet to come? Because I think so far in 3 years, we've only had one or two of the game release on Xbox this console generation. So what's coming in the future that's the game?
I mean, I think a lot of people look to Fable because it is similar to what we know as like the big, as Cog would say, you know, the just one, the third person open world, you know, big game. You know, that's the first thing that pops. That's just instinctually, it's just the first thing that pops into my head. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be better, you know, and every game is different, obviously, but as an RPG for Xbox, as a third-person game, because Xbox is known for its, you know, first-person, it's like the shooter box, right? That's what it's been known for a long time. And I think right, yeah, and I think that the issue with Game Pass, like, look what happened with Power World. Like, I am one of those people that I saw Power World, and there was a lot of marketing for it, you know, for a long time, and I've talked to so many people about this. I mean, the whole world knows about it now. When I saw Power World, I thought, okay, whatever, it's silly.
We made
whatever,
fun of it.
You know,
we were on stream
you know, I looked at it and I said, that game right there is pretty Disney. That's what I thought, and I wasn't going to even. I wasn't going to play it until I tried it.
Disney.
Hold on, Red.
Disney.
Hold that thought, Red.
Yeah.
Because we are literally here in like crisis mode of what Xbox is planning to do. It's such an up and down thing with Xbox where they literally have the most popular game on the planet exclusive to their platform. It's not coming to PlayStation anytime soon, as far as I know. And we're like, rip Xbox. Xbox is dead.
Right.
And we forget that just yesterday we were just like, plink, plink. But go ahead.
Yeah, because what were you talking about too? We were like, Colt, we've been playing Enshrouded lately. That's only on PC, I believe, right now, early access.
Correct.
And I'm like, Xbox should get this game early access too. I think a lot of Xbox guys would enjoy it.
Would be big.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Red, about it'll be huge, and now Red Wolf has a copy of it, so we can play together. Go ahead. You're saying Power World.
I was just saying that, like, whenever it comes to Game Pass, when people think about, like, Xbox needs that one big game to come out, it's like Xbox is slowly becoming not known for its one big games. It's becoming known for its catalog, similar to Netflix, which is not necessarily a good thing, because we think about like Netflix as a platform, as a subscription service, and it's like memed now, where it's like I sit on Netflix and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll until I find something that I want. Right? That's not necessarily a great thing, right? So that's why like day and date stuff it's not attractive to like a lot of people. Colt, are you okay?
Yeah, I got a DM right before the show started. I wish I would have read. I'm not going to say who it's from, okay? Because I want to keep this. Next week will be better, laugh out loud. Don't believe everything you've read, exclamation point. When I talk about people that I trust, I'm talking about someone that we have 1,400 people here watching. I should do this real quick. Thank you for being here for the X&C podcast. Hit the like button. I would love to see us get to 1,000 likes before we end the show. You guys are amazing. This is the Xbox Newscast. Middle-aged game guy was here for the full show, and now I have Red Wolf from Red Wolf Renegade and the Renegade podcast, and my good friend, both these guys are my great friends, Fonz from Games Talk Live and Fonz Gaming's channel. They're both here being excellent, just impromptu co-hosts. Hit the like button, show your support. We appreciate you. Hey, if you want food, get some Factor.
Wait.
There's a QR code. I'll just, whore myself out. Hey, and the 20% off the Manscaped thing. Check that out. Great deals. X&C is the promo code for Manscaped. There we go. I did the station identification. Check us out on KKQRPI Radio.
Now back to you, Colt. Now, hey,
wait, hold on. I got to say what I was going to say. What was it? Oh yeah, I'm going to read it again because Phil said we're going to talk about it next week, and I hear you. I hear you.
We hear you.
Next week will be better. Laugh out loud. Oh, I said sleep well. What a crappy week. And he said. Next week will be, he or she, next week will be better. Laugh out loud. Don't believe everything you've read! !
Ooh. Sounds spicy.
Guys, what I gotta read some supers here. I want you to think about that. We're going to talk about what that could mean because we had talked about it on the show, even when you guys were here.
It only depends on who told you this. And I can tell you,
Okay, hold on. I'm going to text you who said it, and you keep it quiet.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you texting me too?
I'll text you as well. I'm sorry. I'm looking down. You can see my wonderful thinning hair. Hey, I didn't do it. It's just genetics. Don't.
They say
this.
letting a cow lick you on the top of the head is
okay.
Is good for the hair.
I got the text. And I won't say anything, but holy crap.
Yeah,
okay.
So when we said in the show during different points that maybe only half of this is true, it's not as... What were the words? I got to look at it again because... I don't know. Where is it?
Let me grab my...
Don't believe everything you've read.
Died.
That is so weird because...
Let me plug it
Don't believe everything you've read.
Don't believe everything you read. When some of this stuff came from really, really reputable, I'm never wrong type people.
Well, let me talk about that real quick, though. I noticed a sort of a trend that happened after Xbox Era leaked out what was going on, right?
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, I started seeing like other articles from media outlets start popping up saying the same wording. It was the same exact I forgot what the wording was, but they all started off with the same sentence about Microsoft is thinking about putting Gears on such and such platform. And it's like, everyone was reading like that. I'm thinking to myself, are they just making shit up at this point? Excuse my language. Are they just making stuff up?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm thinking. Like it just got worse and worse and worse. It went to Forza, it went to Gears. And I'm like, okay, now this is sounding like the whole slate of games at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the mainstream media has certainly painted it that way, and for good reason, because people have said things that they tend to
because I have a feeling, and I told you this before the show.
It's not crap gamer, Donnie.
I really do feel like it's mainly the Bethesda games that are going to PlayStation 5. That's what I really think this is about. Bethesda and COD. That's all. Like, I don't really think this is as widespread as some of these outlets are saying. I could be wrong, but this is just my internal feeling until we get confirmation. Same stuff with the whole Game Pass stuff. I think these are ideas they were kicking around, but until it happens, I'm going to ride or die with Game Pass. Until it dies for me, I'm going to be with Game Pass until the end.
I'm going to pull the audience thanks to you. And since we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on demand on audio only, I'm going to read out what I'm putting in this poll for the audience to vote. And I want you to think about this before I hit the button for you to say yes or no. Really think about personally, not worried about what PlayStation guys or Die Hard say. Here's the question. Would you be okay with Activision and Blizzard King games and Bethesda games going to PlayStation 6 to 12 months after they come to Game Pass and Xbox console? Like, just you personally as a gamer having access to the way you've always played games. Would you personally be okay with that? Answer the question like you don't have to tell. It's an anonymous poll. And I have to feel like me personally as a gamer who plays occasionally on the PlayStation, play a little bit occasionally on a PC, play most of my games on Xbox. I'd have to say, yeah, I guess on a personal level, I'm okay with that. Did I want this? Not really. Fonz, let me read some of these supers that have been hanging out just quite a while. God Emperor Sofa King with the $5 super. Thank you so much. And he's got that meme like from Otis Alex. If devs keep complaining, if they don't get in line, lay them off like Bobby Kotick, he wouldn't let all this slide. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's unfair to expect devs to hit sales metrics in the situation they're in. Phase 23 Brooklyn, New York, our good friend and longtime adversary. He says, community is on fire and Phil's playing Diablo 4. Freaking hilarious. It was so true. He was on playing with his good friends. They're playing Diablo 4 and they're like, hey, Phil, everything's on fire right now. And he's like,
Phil's like, leave me alone. Let it burn.
Vicandrew Skellum, thank you so much for the $5 super. Says, we waited 4 years games, and as soon as there's a steady cadence, they give up before seeing how it goes. Cannot wait until 18 months to see the payoff. I'm just mad that we have to wait for some of these games. Wise Old Gamer, thank you for the 5. I can finally have my Starfield chick dual.
Read it before you. Oh God.
He makes a joke about it. Well, I mean, it's not that bad. Wait for her to dual sense me senseless. I mean, hey, I'd like to see how the dual sense with the haptics. And on that note, I really hope they really do bring out that haptics controller as soon as possible. I think they probably are going to move it to next gen.
Hey, Colt, I have to remind Phil of this quote.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Hey, it's a Pinocchio.
I just had to do it because,
Hey, Fonz, you're
I love how
old.
he chuckles when he says it.
I know. I wonder what that chuckle was. Like he kind of flubbed
Now
a
we
word.
know what that chuckle was.
What
Because
was
the
it?
gamers don't know. I'm about to change and flip-flop on this.
Hey, you're old like me, Fonz. Do you remember?
Oh, Jesus.
For all of you who were born around 1980, okay? This doesn't include you, Red, since you're 17.
I'm sad.
Do you guys remember the Pinocchio movie with Pee Wee Herman who played Pinocchio? And that's a no.
No.
It's super creepy.
What?
It is
I was gonna say,
No,
that sounds creepy. I don't
like
want
he's got
that.
his face painted, like stage painted to look like he's made out of wood. He's like, ha ha.
You know
Oh,
what's
give me
creepy?
nightmares.
And I wonder if your chat can see this, but this is creepy. Okay? You see that? That's a character in Enshrouded that looks like me at 60 years old. I am freaking suing them for this.
You
all right?
can't see the
Where's
chin.
my
Raise it up
money?
so you can see the chin.
Look,
There
you
you go.
can't understand about this.
There it is.
In game,
Wait,
it's
move
uncanny.
it back a little bit so it's the same size. Oh, wait, turn your swipe your phone real quick or tap
Oh my
it.
God! Look at it when you put it side by side. Oh my God!
Red,
That's some BS right there. And in game, Colt is like, man, it really does look like you.
Red, we were playing the game and I have my house built and I have like one bed and he goes, I'm going to lay down and
That's
revive
creepy.
rest my character. And he's like, and I walk over and I'm like, holy crap, Fonz, this really does look like you. Oh my gosh. And I was like,
It's
Right,
not right,
nice,
people.
nice,
It's
bro.
not right.
And he was like,
It's
it
not
really
right.
does look like him. Oh, I hope that game comes to
I
Xbox
tweeted,
soon.
yeah, Fonz tweeted out, and he was like, "I'm suing."
So-
Essentially,
I'm just telling y'all, if you want to play as Fonz in Enshrouded, I'm there. I'm there. I'm the old guy with the beard. Just take the beard off, put a soul patch on. It's me.
Right,
I mean,
slap
it
it
just
on.
freaking looks. It looks. There's only like 9 presets, and it.
Yeah.
I walk
And
around
then
like,
one
oh
is
my gosh.
Fonz. It's like girl, boy, Fonz. And it
Right, exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Dude, I'm gonna
It's not
start a
even a
new
girl
character
dad.
and do the girl version of Fonz.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just long hair with a soul patch. Yeah, it's great.
messed up.
Love it.
Let me get one. Let me get one over to Red so he can use his brain again. Machine XP, thank you for the $5 super. I'm going to pretend like he's asking Red. Live service is the main focus. Example, Sea of Thieves, Halo multiplayer, but not campaign. But Hellblade throws all of this out the window. Yes, we did hear there's a PS5 port of Hellblade 2. We'll see if that's true. Red, I've got to tell you that this information broke via DM from someone, just a viewer of the show, that said there's a Halo job posting at 343 that says the next game will be, quote, for all players on all platforms. Your thoughts?
What the Wait, turn it on. Okay.
I can't. There we go.
There we go.
Can you imagine doing that? Somebody interviewing him on the street. It's like, like Tom Green, where he just shoves a microphone. Anyway, go ahead.
So
what do you think about
my
this?
Thoughts are,
Through Halo's next game just launching on everything.
Well, let me go straight to what everyone is thinking right now in chat. Phil Spencer saying, when we lose Halo, we lose Xbox or something like that, right?
They lose their identity.
They're at their identity,
Yeah.
right? So the writing's on the wall there. That's really scary whenever I think about that. So if that's true, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess like back to what I was saying about like this ties into what I was saying about like the Netflix sort of comparison. Whenever you look at Netflix, how it is now, how people look at Netflix, like how to sort of browse through and see what I can get or whatever. It's like I am someone who has stop it. I am someone.
What? What are you doing?
Nothing. It's fine.
You missed it.
It's fine. I'm someone who. Damn it, Fonz! I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm someone who just loves video games, and my thought completely.
You have the attention span of a gnat, and when you get Fonz and I in here, it's completely worthless. Okay, we're gonna let Red go.
It's like a party chat, with us. Yeah, it's crazy. Mayhem.
When Red and I get in a party chat, no conversation ever takes place or finishes.
It never ends.
It's just like constant Creed and Nickelback singing.
And
somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can't sing it too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Netflix.
Oh yeah,
and
because they're gonna get you for that.
Identity. Yeah. Identity. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Identity. Yeah. Whenever like Xbox was known for its games, its exclusives and whatnot, like the shooter box. If Netflix if Xbox starts to go into the Netflix territory with it's just you can buy this device and it's got this subscription service like a Roku, and then we're looking at like the future of cloud gaming with Microsoft and how they just want to they don't want to spend the cost on consoles and they want to go yes, Sailor Mercury, yes, Smash Mouth, you're correct. That is the changing of the identity of Xbox. So what is an Xbox anymore? We have like an Xbox device, a little Xbox USB that slaps to your TV,
a logo, and that's not good enough.
Yeah, just I don't know, man. And that's what I've talked to. Like people are saying, like, oh, my whole library is gone. I'm giving up on Xbox and whatnot. I'm like, there will always be an Xbox platform, but like, it's not going to be the one that we. Yeah, exactly, Fonz. What is it going to be though? Is it going to be a little USB stick that we slap into our Samsung TV?
I call this thing right here the Xbox Series Pro right here.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what that is.
This episode is sponsored by Hargeet Chani.
Hargeet Chani.
God, he's such a good dude. God, he
saved
my life.
Great friend.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great friend. He's a legend. Hargeet is a freaking legend, man.
He's a legend. I'm way behind. Let me read some of these and they'll spark some conversation as well. Andy Hart, thank you for the £5. He says, personally, I don't have a problem with Xbox putting games on PlayStation. More money for Xbox. At the end of the day, good business decision. Well, he just licked the boot, didn't he? No, I'm just kidding. Christian Borak, thank you for the $5 super. Time to unplug my Xbox mini fridge. It's over. Ours malfunctioned. Piece of crap.
Not that serious. You can still cool some sodas up in there, some Mountain Dews, right? Why not?
Mountain Dews, and they're not even cold in that thing. Maxie Coleman with the ARS 50. Oh, frick. He goes, Colin Moriarty was right all along. Now, I'll tell you what. I can't really give these guys props. I think they never wanted Xbox to have games. They never wanted Xbox to be thriving. I think what they really wanted is for Xbox to say,
them to die.
You know what? We give up. You're right. We're not as cool as PlayStation. I think that's the only reason why you get these guys in these spaces. I've heard some morons talk about, we were right. You guys didn't demand better and Xbox is dog crap. And it's like, you just happen to luck into what is actually just a report right now at this point. If my source is like, don't believe everything you read, we could see something really interesting next week. It sucks that we're going to have to wait till like maybe an entire week from now.
Do you think we'll ever hear this again? Exclusive.
No. No, we will not. I said that in my video that over the past 2 years, Xbox has not used the word exclusive since Sarah Bond goes, and yes, it's exclusive for Starfield. Red, speak up.
Yep. Man, that's the one thing that people are like weaponizing right now. And yes, it's exclusive. And then they show the PlayStation logo, and it's like exclusive to what? Yeah,
PlayStation.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, and the thing is, like, I am with like shout out to my buddy DeMarco, dude, and shout out to Pushing Polygons, who just gifted 5 Colteastwood memberships.
Ooh.
Awesome. Pushing Polygons, you're awesome. I've been watching you. I've been watching you.
Wait, hold on. Hold that thought.
That sounds creepy.
Hold that thought is like asking the world of Red. Shout out to Pushing Polygons. We chatted in our last Superclass discussion about one of his videos. He had this video and he's like, "What do you think of the thumbnail?" And I said, "Change this, make this bigger, make this more prominent, change this to the title, or make this adjustment." And he messaged me the next day. He goes, "My video went from like 22 views to 800." And then he said it went over to 2,000. And I'm like, I freaking love that so much, because when you're content creating, you pour your guts in your video and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, shout out to him. Check out his channel. It's in the description. He covers retro gaming. He covers hardware. He covers the state of gaming in the industry. And he just gets in front of the camera and just says it how it is. So check him out. Red, do you remember what you were saying?
So basically you told him he's trash at thumbnails. Yeah, that's a really good friend there. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't say Zocker. Was Zocker around? Because that's the king of trash thumbnails.
It's one of the things that we've been working on. His wife's a designer.
I know. I'm kidding. Kidding. Pushing Polygons is great.
It's really tough when you make a thumbnail, and I have 20 years of experience. I'll put out a thumbnail, and the next day I'm like, oh gosh, what was I thinking with all of my years of experience and talent? Garbage. So a second set of eyes is great. Red, do you remember what you were going to say? I don't even remember where you were.
Well, see, let's start from the beginning. I was born in Maryland. No. Oh God, what was I saying? Chat. Let's see if we can get.
I knew it.
Caught up.
Bro, I'm right there with you. Let me get another super, and I'll go back to you. Thank you. Andy Hart with the £5. Thank you, buddy. I personally have no. Wait, I already read that one. Didn't I? Yes. Yeah, I called him a bootlicker. I was just kidding, bro. I was just kidding. No, I know. Yes, it is a good decision. I told you, I just don't like it. I'm thinking, like, why don't you just try? Why don't you just wait it out? God Emperor Sofa King says, Nate the Hate can get bent. Bro, Nate the Hate's a really nice guy.
Whoa.
You're just killing the messenger on that one.
Pause on that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good dude. In fact, I said, man, I'm getting a lot of hate over this news report. And he's like, bro, you haven't even seen it. It's bad. The Kill the Messenger thing. Andy Hart with the $10 super emblazoned in goldenrod. He says,
$10 super chat.
So makes $10 super chat.
Sorry.
$5. Andy Hart says, loving Suicide Squad on the Series X. Better resolution than the PS5, lock 60. I'm happy with my Series X. But at the end of the day, Microsoft, Xbox are in it to make money, not friends. Yeah, that's true. Hey, but they made a few friends along the way. Joe Roberts says, hey, Fonz, it's good to see you, brother. I don't know if he's talking about your character or
good
you.
To see him. Oh, he's definitely talking about the character, and I'm about to sue Keen Studios, right? That's who it is. Yeah.
Keen
thanks
Studios.
a lot, Keen. Thanks a lot.
It's a fun game.
Put me in your game.
Carlos Fontes with a $10 super chat says, Xbox games going to PlayStation like an iPhone user asking me to borrow my USB-C cable. I can't help but remember all the nasty things they said about my Google Pixel. Red, let me ask you, and thank you, Pushing Polygons, for those channel membership. Let me ask you, put yourself in this position, Red. Bethesda's like, we can't meet a sales metric when you told us to not make the PS5 version. What would you do if Google and YouTube reached out to you and said, hey, just a heads up, we're doing this with some channels. We can't release your games on iOS or your videos that you make for YouTube on iOS. They're only going to be on Android devices. Sorry. Like, how would you feel? Put yourself in Bethesda's position.
Right. And I guess, like, a lot of people are talking about, like, it's out of Bethesda's hands. Like, what do they care about their sales whenever they're under Microsoft now? They're like, oh, like, we're still going to be taken care of financially. But if we're not getting the I don't know what the word is, we're not getting the eyes like that we should be, when it could be everywhere. And I guess that is like I don't know, that's a hard question to answer because we look at the bigger PlayStation games. It's like they didn't need It's just the mind share again of PlayStation. It's on PlayStation. Of course it is. It's The Last of Us. It's Ghost of Tsushima or whatever. It was just a good game. And the majority of people already think about gaming as PlayStation. Just the casual gamers. It's on PlayStation. Of course. Why would I get an Xbox? So to think of it like whenever you're equating it to just being on Android or whatever. Yeah, I guess like as a developer, just stop me if I'm not answering your question correctly.
No, you are.
As a developer, if I was thinking, we could be making a lot more money if it was on iOS and iPhone, but it's only on Android. But whatever, we're taken care of. As a developer, I would just.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true. Fonz, he makes a really good point. He's like, Bethesda's like, we can't meet our sales metric or sales we can't.
Our sales meteors. Say it.
Sales meteors.
Or our sales matrix.
Metroid.
Yep. What was I was having like a serious conversation with Red on the phone like a few weeks ago. I was an emotional conversation and I flip-flopped 2 words and you just laughed at me for 18 minutes on the phone.
But that's what Red Wolf does best. He just laughs and laughs and laughs, and it's infectious.
I was like, and then I put I don't remember what it was. Shonky Doo, and you like,
okay,
donkey
so
shoe?
Bethesda can't meet their sales metric.
Yeah, what I was thank you, Fonz. Now I don't even remember the question.
Jeez.
Yeah, so Bethesda, Fonz,
old.
Pre-acquisition Bethesda was like, remember we talked about this on RDX with Dealer had talked to people behind the scenes that Bethesda was like, we're in financial trouble, crap out this Youngblood game, crap out these other games. And then Xbox like, we'll buy you. Now you're financially secure. Do they have a right to complain about not hitting sales metrics when...
Well, they're owned now by Microsoft. So, I mean, their internal sales metrics, should they still be in place once they're bought by Microsoft? I don't know how that works. They still had some sort of internal sales metric to where they get bonuses and that sort of thing. Man, I get the frustration if that's the thing and they want to make even more money and they want to hit those bonuses and stuff. But
yeah,
man, that's something that like as a business, when you buy another company out, like you've bought that company, they're under you now. They should just adhere to your policies and stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think that's kind of weird for them to be trying to hit those metrics.
Can you also imagine being a developer? I'm just sitting here at my desk every day, busting my butt, just doing my best, really, really passionate about the thing that I'm feeling really, really creative about, and then knowing that it's only going to come to a certain platform, and that goes for anything. I'm not just talking about Xbox right now, but that definitely has to affect you some way, unless you're really proud of it, and unless it's gonna sell well. Regardless of where
here's the difference. Here's the difference. It's not only hitting one platform, it's also hitting the masses on PC as well, which is a pretty large audience.
The OG platform of gaming. And I keep telling people
look, Bethesda's games, Blizzard's games, they are really a lot of them are like PC centric games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got a huge fan base there on PC to begin with.
Yes.
That I think I think the Steam fan base alone for Bethesda, for Blizzard, and all these, developers is bigger than console.
Bro, I got to say something.
So,
thank you guys so much. We have 1,000 likes on the podcast live. I think that's probably a first for me. I don't know what to say. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. When you guys are talking about this sales metrics thing, it makes me laugh. I'm like, if you expect a certain amount of sales on your game, it's not really the fault of not releasing on PlayStation, because Palworld proved that if your game is awesome and it's hot and everybody wants a piece of your game and it's trending,
yes,
you'll hit an incredible milestone. I don't remember what the Palworld was like, 8 million copies on Xbox and Xbox PC. It was 12 or 20 million players, over 12 million sales in 1 week on Steam. That's not because it was on PlayStation. Whoever supered that earlier and said, would it really matter if the game sold on PlayStation? You know what? I would stand here and say, maybe we've got it all wrong. Maybe the reason why Xbox doesn't meet sales metrics, or why a game isn't pushing console sales or a mass surge of Game Pass, is because they haven't had those incredibly, I have to have this game. And until Xbox brings out Fable, and Fable comes out, people are like, oh my gosh, this game changes what we thought about a whimsical fantasy RPG. Everyone's talking about it. Look at the things they're doing. Look at the villages or the families they're building in the game. Once you hit that zeitgeist, then you start blasting into the stratosphere. And you cannot have, because this is what we've seen all generation. For the most part, games have been in the mid 80s or low 80s for PlayStation and Xbox from their first party. Spider-Man was super highly popular, but those gotta have it games have been Elden Ring. Just without you guys going on speeches, just start spouting them out, Red and Fonz. What were the must-have games we've seen over the past 3 years? What were the must-plays? Everyone's playing it. What were they?
Hogwarts.
Red, what else?
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield might have been in there, but what else?
No. But it was. I mean, oh my god,
everybody was talking about
Hogwarts.
What else? Hogwarts, yes.
Hogwarts,
Elden Ring, Palworld,
of course, Fortnite, and that's huge.
What else? Chat, help us out. Write it in the chat. What were the games that everyone was talking about? Over the past
I'll
2 or 3
always
years?
maintain that
2 or 3 years. Okay.
That having compelling games on your platform will bring the sales to your. You'll bring people to your platform with good, compelling games. I will always maintain that is the way it should work. Let's face it, a lot of these games that have come out for Xbox that are Xbox exclusive are really for the diehard Xbox fan. A lot of them.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Not a lot of gamers.
Sorry, I'm going to yell them out while you're talking. Baldur's Gate 3.
Not a lot of gamers outside the Xbox fan base is really hype for certain games that Xbox cultivates on their platform.
Vampire Survivors. Another one that jumped into my brain.
Redfall. That was another one.
The real YT Shadow. You're so dumb, bro. You're so dumb. Like this is not coping. This is actual facts. When you talk about some of the biggest games on PlayStation, was Horizon Forbidden West a must-have game that blew everybody's faces off and sold like crazy? It got stopped by Elden Ring, and Elden Ring was out. You could still buy. What was the other games on PlayStation that were so big? God of War Ragnarok. I think that one did pretty well.
Ragnarok wasn't even as
Vampire
good
Survivors
as 2018.
was another everybody must play.
I mentioned that.
No, there has been there. Honestly, I will say this. I'm not just talking about Xbox games here. I have a PlayStation 5. And I loved last generation's PlayStation 4 exclusives. But this generation, there has been no game that has compelled me like, oh my God, it's a must-have. Like, none of them.
Sackboy Big Adventure, but none of you guys played it. That game is brilliant. Astrobot was fantastic. Nope, shut up, Fonz. I love you. No, Sackboy was brilliant, and no one cared. Sucks.
Yeah, I'm not.
And you know what?
Sackboy.
Grounded was better than most games. Sorry, Fonz. I know you don't like that, but Grounded is amazing. But it's just the thing. Like, Grounded's not a everyone must play game. And you guys in the chat are nailing it. There's so many baby.
You're right, though. Palworld is one of those games that really Palworld stomps that narrative. Of course, that here's a game that's very compelling that everybody wants to play, and they're doing so. They're playing it on the Xbox. They're playing it on the PC. Everywhere this game is, they're playing it because it's so good. If you have that sort of game, on your platform, you're going to move your platform. It's going to sell well. There might be people out there, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure there's probably people out there who've bought a Series S to play Palworld now. Who knows?
And Fonz,
I can see it happening.
Another thing about this, Fonz, that I think people, and I know a lot of people talk about this, Pal World is a great example of like how successful it is. It doesn't need to be this multi-million-dollar
exactly
crazy. Like Fun Factor has absolutely taken over the mindshare. That's like the word of the day. Like the AAA gaming space right now is kind of dead.
Right, yeah.
It is kind of dead.
For me right now, the double A's have been really fun, man. I'm playing Enshrouded and having a blast with that, and that's a double A game. That's not a huge game.
Yeah, you make a good product. As long as you deliver. Like I have brought this up on my show on Renegade Realm podcast. How, like, look at the movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. That movie costs nothing to make, nothing in comparison to.
Yeah.
Comparatively to the Marvel game movies and whatnot, it literally made $1 billion.
Really?
Okay, because it made so much money. It was crazy, Zucker. It made so much money. It was.
Zucker's such a hater unless it's like all Disneyed up. You know, the Marvel games have to be all Disneyed for him, right?
It's like, everyone's spinning around.
Disney enough. I need more Disney.
But seriously, everyone was talking about it so much. Like, you've got to see this. This had such an impact on me. I love it. I don't know why I love it. You got to check it out. And there you go. You have success. You don't need to spend billions of dollars. But again, Vampire Survivors. That was another one that I brought up. I'm like, why are people talking about this game? Another game that I looked at a glance and I thought, absolutely not. I'm not going to get into this. And then you get into it, you're like, let me try this one more time. And then one more time turns into 40 hours later, you're gone. And that was on it.
I'm glad you wrote that out, Colt. AAA gaming isn't dead. It's just shaky. That's exactly what I mean. It's
I know that's what that's how you feel.
But it's just right now, it seems like the AA gaming space is on a whole nother level of fun and enjoyment that I'm not getting from the AAAs right now. Just not. PlayStation,
Elden Ring and Hogwarts.
Yes, there's like one game a year that'll come out that might be great with AAA, like amazing games. But outside of that, it's like the AA's is where it's at right now, and you don't have to spend that much money to create fun. And I'm just like figuring this out myself because I was in a bubble of just AAAs.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
And I would only play like AAA games and just look at the AA's.
We had a type.
Look at that power Pokemon with guns. Who's going to play that crap? Right. And I play it and I'm like, holy crap, I'm 3 a.m. and I'm freaking playing this game. And I'm like, well, what am I doing awake? I got to catch them all.
Until Red's entire mansion burns down in 5 seconds. He's like, no.
Oh my God. Literally in 5 seconds, my entire house burned down. And I was like, if I don't build this house back right now, I'm never coming back to this game. But because I loved it, I did.
The last time I actually got 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score on any game was literally never.
Yeah.
But Power World was like the first.
I would have it on Grounded if they didn't glitch out those co-op.
It's weird.
Ones.
And I don't achievement hunt. It just came to me, but I played a lot of Power. I beat Power World. I beat all the bosses. I mean,
it's so funny
in the game.
It's so funny that, for good reason, like we are frustrated or we're concerned about the future of Xbox. But literally right now, you can play one of the most popular, fun, surprisingly great games that copies Pokemon
and Game
only
Pass.
On Xbox. Like only on Steam and Xbox. It's crazy. And if I was PlayStation, I would be kicking myself for not having a way to get that game.
You get a one up there when it's in Game Pass as well. It's like,
let's not kid ourselves. I heard this absolute doofus on Tim's Spaces say, most people buy their console because of the exclusives. Most people buy their console because of the exclusives. And he kept saying that. I'm like, no, they don't, because PlayStation's bread and butter is games they didn't make and they didn't partner for. That's where most of their money comes from. I got a couple supers here. We got Trill Roberts with a $5 super chat. And it sounds like an excuse, but dang it, Xbox needs to do a better job to get more people to feel like they need to be on that console to buy all those
compelling games.
Absolutely. And we're asking for better.
And some of them are coming. I see Indiana Jones as being a very compelling and fun game to play. I see that as being a great game to freaking play. So I'm excited for that. Fable could be something that's amazing. The graphics alone look really cool. I just want to see the gameplay.
A lot of Fable 3's crappy. It's not a great game, but a lot of it is I was surprised. Like, this is pretty good. Ending sucked, had a lot of problems, but that was like the worst Fable ever. Yeah, I mean, just Playground. It's gonna be great. Trail Robert says PC made up for PS5's players don't play any. The PS5 players don't play anything except COD, 2K, and Madden. And he's not wrong. Like, the majority of PlayStation's player base is playing Activision games and 2K games for the most part. And that's why they're so scared during that whole thing that we don't even talk about anymore. ABK, who cares? It's over. They have them. Hargeet Chani chimes in after we kicked him off the show and banned him. We love him.
We don't ban Chani. He's going to be on the show tomorrow night. It's my co-host.
Yes, check out GTL is going to do an RDX style show tomorrow. That's what I'm going to call it. You know, you might as well bring in some of those people. Hargeet says
it's my makeup show, man. I was sick yesterday.
Yeah,
so
but are you able to get one of D-Batch?
Just D-Batch, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The one and only
D-Batch. Hargeet says, we're forgetting that the most played games on PlayStation by far are the most important reason to buy a PlayStation. Oh, for son of a biscuit. Hargeet, do you see what he said? Red?
I couldn't get it.
It's their app. He said the most reason, the reason why, and I'm not familiar with this.
Game on PlayStation,
Pornhub.
and by far the most important reason to buy a PlayStation. I can't read that. Is that? Sorry.
He said the reason why most players play is because of Pornhub. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I'm 17. I don't know.
Prawnhub. Yeah.
I've never heard
something
of
to do
that.
with shrimp. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Got you. Something about ropes and
seafood.
You like
squid.
hot fudge sundaes? All right.
I like the way he says, all right.
All right. It's my favorite part.
All right.
What a great name. We got a channel member, Fantasticals, with a €5 super chat.
Fantasticals?
Fantastic. I love that. Hey, Fantasticals. He says,
it really
quote,
was fantastic.
He says, quote, Xbox, what about third-person games? Quote, okay, you asked for it. Third-party games. There you go. Wait, no.
No, that's wrong. We want third person, not third party. No.
Third person. I love it. What a great show. Thank you guys so much for it's good to hang out with you guys. Fonz, I'll start with you. You're at the bottom. Let everyone know where they can find you and follow you. And
I ain't
and
at
where
the
they can see
bottom.
you
I'm
next.
at the top now. I'm on XNC, baby. By the way, when you changing the name from Xbox Newscast?
Oh.
On my phone, I kind of photo manipulated it so it said VNC Podcast, the video game newscast. Yeah.
There you go.
I thought it meant
That's
something
a wide
else,
net.
but, okay.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, you can find me over at Fonz Gaming here on YouTube or Fonz Gaming on Twitter. And I like to talk about all the latest and greatest games and news in the gaming world. No, I just don't talk about Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo. I talk about it all. Like, come check me out. Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. But I'm doing a special show tomorrow night on Fonz Gaming channel here on YouTube, and that will be me, Hargeet Chani, my co-host, and of course, the one and only D-Batch will be there as a guest.
Love it.
It'll be fun.
Love it.
Return. That's awesome.
Return. Yeah. So it's like getting part of the game back from RDX, you know?
Nice. Yep.
You couldn't get Zocker to crawl out of his hole, but maybe
he's
another
always
time.
like, I can't do it. I'm working. I'm always working. Yeah, that's all I do. Yeah. No,
he's Hermie. He's like in the Misfit Toys. He's like, I wanted to be a dentist.
Oh,
and he's just over there putting together
I hear you
cars.
from him. I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't play games anymore because I'm working. It's like, quit your job so you can play games with me.
If you know Zocker, we roasted the fudge out of him when we were making fun of we have a chat where we just make fun of each other's YouTube channels, and I made a meme of that. You know the meme of the super tall cell phone where the guy's like the smartphone where he's like writing a dissertation on a text.
Yeah.
I put all of Zocker's Phil Spencer thumbnails like all stacked and sent it to him. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, roasted!" But we love Zocker.
Well, you remember,
Zocker is a toddler.
Remember that. He's still a toddler, guys.
I love it.
That's where he's at.
We don't know when RDX is coming back, but Fonz is.
Hopefully, it comes back soon. I haven't talked to Dealer in about a month now, and
Christmas. or whatever?
No, it was after Christmas.
Okay.
And,
Well, not me.
he told me he was doing well, but he's going through some stuff. So hopefully he returns as soon as possible. I miss the guy. He's a great friend, one of my best friends out there. I want him back just as badly as you guys, more so.
All I can
want him
figure
to
is
come
like
back.
the guy is enjoying not being stuck in the middle of this absolute nonsense of drama.
Exactly.
And so like I haven't even bothered to say, hey, did you hear Xbox died? No, not good timing. So yeah, we
Are you
appreciate.
awake?
Yeah.
They wake up with like that meme of the
Or he sees it and he does a oh cute.
oh my god, what if it looks like a bird? Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to come back to the Real Deal What podcast?
Yeah, the Real Deal
Yeah.
X Xboxes. People keep
I don't
writing,
know.
change it to the X Xbox, but yeah.
Right.
Red Wolf, you're another.
Polygons just gifted another 5 memberships. You
Jeez.
son of a
Damn,
bing
5
bang.
jets.
He's pushing the memberships like nobody's business. And I just gotta say that I really appreciate you.
He's just tossing them around like pizza pies on 59th Street.
Right.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning into the XVCPNG.
You want the pecorino cheese or the pastrami?
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
All right.
You're starting to sound like that old Italian lady on, I don't know. Oh, I love it. Oh, Joshua Tupa says, Colt, why are you whispering like Boomstick?
Who's that? I never heard of that guy.
Boomstick.
Come on, man. That's just coincidence.
Come on.
I don't know.
Come
who that
on.
Oh, my
Shout
gosh.
out to
Oh, man.
Love Boom. Love Boom.
is. Yeah, he's so.
Have you
he's so
tried
good.
the lasagna?
My missus made me a fantastic patchouli. I don't even know. I
tried stroganoff for the first time.
Is stroganoff Russian?
Meatballs.
I don't know. But
Nico
Speaking of
Bellic with the
meatballs,
stroganoff.
all right, this show has just gone off the deep end, man. Like
Red.
Back on
You've
track.
Yeah.
Red.
I consider you a new good friend. It's been about a year.
A new
we've been
good friend. I like that.
just
You're a
messing
new
around.
good friend. Not like the old good friends.
Just
new
a
good
new
friend,
new
yeah.
good
Good
friend.
friend.
Yeah.
Shiny new. Yeah, I like it.
Let me do this, Red.
Yeah.
Red Wolf tries to keep a YouTube channel going, and he makes these. You got to watch these videos he does. He gets in front of the camera. He's very laid back and fun. His last video was about Mass Effect 4 and what we can expect and what he wants as a big fan of the entire series. You got to check out his video. He makes 8 minutes and a very enjoyable time. Check him out. He's in the description under Red Wolf Renegade, I think is what if you look in there. Yeah, I think that's what it says. You can follow him there. Maybe if Yodani has time, he could put that in the chat. But go subscribe to him. He's a great content creator, good dude, and he doesn't care if Xbox goes third party. So Red Wolf, where can people? What can they look forward to next from you? You know what's going on tomorrow.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that. Shout out to True77, another my Mass Effect bro. He says, yes, and my Mass Effect video blew up for my standards. So thankful for the people that enjoyed it. I've never had such a more positive
Yeah, it was great to see that you
comments.
had 8 views on that video. It's amazing.
I'm like, dude, I'm expecting negative.
I have 5 views in 19 days.
19 days. Holy crap.
YouTube's like an outstanding 10 out of 10.
Exactly.
Would definitely recommend on a hot Sunday on 79th Street.
Have you tried
kinda-
the Mass Effect video? It's my favorite.
Thanks for spending 4 hours making this fantastic video nobody watched.
Exactly. Oh my god. People
Dude,
will
this,
never understand.
This
Oh my god.
This Neen Matrix guy who's like talking about I'm bald. Who cares? I'm super handsome. Like I'm like one of the most desired dudes on the planet. You're sitting there waiting, biting your lower lip, like all hot and bothered, waiting for Xbox to finally give you something to play on that piece of crap PS5. I'm just joking. He's a good.
What was that movie? Sybil?
I'm just kidding.
Remember Sybil? She bit her lip and she was like.
Matix is actually a massive, like, die-hard, ride or die Xbox fan. He goes in here and tries to pretend to be a PlayStation fan so people get mad. But like he has pictures of Phil Spencer in his room. He loves Xbox so much. It's outstanding. Phil Spencer poster right next to the toilet. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Red. I interrupted you.
Yeah. That was Jacob. Tu pois. I hope I'm saying that right. Tu pois. I'm so sorry.
Tu pois.
Tu pois.
Oh my
tu pois. Jacques tu pois. Thank you. That is.
Nico, my cousin. Nico, my cousin. Nico, my cousin.
Nico, my cousin is Nico, my cousin is Nico.
Anyway, you guys can find me at Red Wolf Renegade on YouTube. We have a weekly podcast every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like Fonz said, yeah, not just an Xbox podcast. It's an everything podcast. And we will go off the rares. We'll go off the rails and just whatever. We'll go on tangents and just have fun. It's just like a bunch of people hanging out, having fun.
I love it. Who's on your panel?
Formal.
You guys got that blue number, Holly, who's in the chat earlier tonight.
Glad you asked. Yeah, it's got
asked.
Assassin Entertainment, and you should definitely go follow him on twitch.com/Assassin Entertainment. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, but shout out to him. He's been streaming a lot lately on Twitch. We got him. We have
Don't sell his crap on my show.
You know, yeah, you're right. Let me just message him. You owe me $5. All right, we're good. We have DeMarco Dude on as well. He is a great content creator. He's been popping off. He's just been popping all over the place. And he's just doing stuff. He is a Bethesda RPG focused channel. He's good dude. We also have that blue number, Holly, who is just great. She's way smarter than all of us, which just balances it out. And then you have me, the idiot, who just rants and talks about cheese and lasagna all the time, which is great. So, yeah, follow me there, Red Wolf Renegade on YouTube. The big red wolf right here. Here, I'm just going to type a bunch of stuff in chat. It looks like that. That little symbol there, that's how you know you'll find me. Boom.
I don't see it. You liar.
Oh, good.
We got a couple supers before we get out of here. PlayStation Pete says with a $5 super chat, sorry for your loss, Colt Dealer Podcast Unlocked with Kevin McCafferty. Kevin McCafferty?
McCafferty.
Isn't that the
I
guy?
like that guy.
Wait,
the voice actor for Max
guy?
Payne?
That's from Max Payne, of course.
Oh, no, that's James McCaffrey.
Yeah,
who
Kevin
passed away.
McCafferty is the guy that's in UHF. He goes, and take that ridiculous thing off. Because the guy's wearing a cowboy hat and then he tears off
How
his
do you
mustache.
remember that guy?
Bro, because that's one of my favorite movies. I'm pretty sure that's
UHF?
Kevin McCafferty. I'm going to look it up.
Oh my
He plays
God.
the
We're
plays
no longer
the mean.
best friends after that.
Oh,
No, I'm
that's
just
Kevin
kidding.
McCarthy. Wait,
UHF was funny.
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kevin McCarthy? Wait, isn't that the singer?
Oh no, Kevin
The country
McCafferty
singer?
is the guy that that kind of looks like me. Maybe I don't know who he is. Whatever, it's lost on me.
John
wait.
Stamos? Really? I didn't
The
know
guy
that.
from the singing show. From my bedpost looks like a lampshade or whatever. Oh my God!
What the
so
crap
not the
song is that?
My
even know.
bedpost looks like my lampshade. What?
That was Disney, bro.
Yeah,
That was so Disney. Sorry.
He's a comic. Yeah, he's a comic. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. But hey,
that guy. Yeah,
shout out to
we all
him.
know
He
him.
didn't pass away, did he?
No. Did he? I don't know.
No, he tweeted 7 hours ago. He's still alive and kicking. How dare you?
Rest in peace, Carl Weathers, though.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Apollo
I was
Creed.
saddened by Carl, man.
We're the Warriors,
Yeah,
Stallion.
Apollo himself. Gone.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
76.
Take a page out of Apollo Creed when he's like, when we're the Warriors, like if we're not fighting for something, why are we even here? Man, he's so great. So great.
Man. F.
Yeah.
F.
To pay respects. Paul Rashbook,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the $3 Australian super. We appreciate that. Udona Kizada puts
Whoa!
down what?
What'd you do? Get $1 million
Whoa!
super? What is that?
Lotus Esprit just dropped a massive, a $100 super chat. A massive $100 super chat. Wow, that is crazy.
Dude,
wow.
Lotus, thank you so much.
Crazy.
He's like, I meant to send $1. Bro,
have you tried the lasagna?
Bro, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Lotus, I got to tell you, yesterday, when this news was breaking, I sat here in front of my camera with the lights on, and I'm like, I need to talk to you, Xbox, tell you what I think what's going on. Here's what I think's happening in the future. And I got mostly done with that video, and then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to put it out. I don't think I'm going to release it. It was like 75% done, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to play a video game. I'm going to just decompress and call it a night. And then in the morning, I put out the video, and you guys, thank you so much for supporting me. Sometimes I feel like, oh, is it worth it anymore? But Lotus, thank you so much. Your words mean a lot, and the super is really super helpful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Can I say something really quick, Colt?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to be sincere here for a second, guys. I'm not messing around.
Ooh, new one.
Colt is one of the most genuine people I know, and that's why he's one of my best friends out there. And Colt honestly does love you guys, and he always tries to think of ways to put out videos for you guys and really entertain you guys. And we're always talking behind the scenes about this stuff. This community is incredible, and it means a lot to all of us. But I know for Colt, he really does. He's genuine when he tells you this stuff, and he's a hell of a guy. So I'm glad to see you guys respect him like that.
Thank you so much, Fonz. Like, you and I have been friends. It's been 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And you know, like in a marriage, it doesn't, like in a good marriage, it doesn't feel like it. We've known each other that long. I mean, even Red was like, bro, we started hanging out on Xbox chat and talking all the time. Over a year ago, we played Fortnite with Assassin and one of your other buddies. And I'm like, it doesn't even feel like it. You guys have all meant a lot. We've all been through a lot going through our lives, and I really appreciate it. Bro.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Donnie's got one last super, and we'll get out of here, guys. You're amazing. What do we have? Almost 1,000 people still here. You guys are fantastic.
Still here? That's crazy, man. That's so good.
Crazy.
You guys are awesome.
Udani says 1,000 likes, 1,000 pennies of Xbox monies. And he puts down a key for a game, and he said the missing characters are the Ceci number. the Ceci number. Whoa, did somebody drop out?
Yeah, Fonz he's gone.
Oh,
he's gone.
maybe
Just
he'll
like
be back.
Xbox. He's the embodiment of Xbox.
How dare you? Hey, you're Mag now.
Oh, good. Let me take off my hat. No, I'll do that when I hit 1,000 subs.
Hey, how about we get Randall Thor to go on camera? I've been working hard on that one.
There we go. Yeah, get him on. Get him on.
We'll probably be out of here before Fonz comes back. Maybe his internet just tanked. But thank you guys for everything you've done. Mag, you've been an incredible guest. Red. Red Mag, bro. Let's hang out later. Have you started Enshrouded?
Ragwolf. Ragmag. Yeah. Tim Brewster, I saw what you said there. I saw what you said. You said, I'm sorry. No, it didn't go through. True 77.
Awesome.
I saw you. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Colt, thank you for having me on at this impromptu. It's 4 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and I must be here. Yeah, it's always great to jump on.
I got the guitar right there, but maybe for another day.
Let's do it.
Rand is a fraud. Hey guys, thank you so much. We're gonna get out of here. I thank you so much. What a great night. You guys have really. I think hopefully we got some answers. We cheered each other up, and man, I really hope that things turn out a lot better than they look. Hold the line, Blade says. You know what? For now. Hold on to your butts, as Samuel L. Jackson would say. We're gonna get out of here. Right now. Red, bro, you're amazing. Thanks for being here. Let's talk tomorrow. Let's hang out. Okay, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Have a good night. I'm gonna hit the outro.